Hello, everybody, and thank you for joining in tonight. Thursday, another movie club we have tonight. It's a special one. I'm really excited about this. Again, I always appreciate any time you spend, whether you're jumping in live with this or coming in on a replay of this. Thank you for any time that you spend with it. Very, very much appreciated. But I'm not going to waste a whole lot of time, but we're on to movie club number 19. But this is an individual that I spoke to pretty early on when I was starting my channel, and I threw out this idea of maybe doing some movie clubs, and he gave me that gentle nudge of getting out there, even if you didn't feel like you were quite perfect yet, just get out there and start doing it. And I'm so grateful for that. So not wasting any time, we're going to go ahead and bring out KB out here. KB loves movies.
What's up, everyone?
How we doing tonight?
Good, man. How you been?
I'm doing great. I couldn't believe I had to go back and look back. So according to YouTube, that was 5 months ago that I was on the conversation with you on your channel. Man, time, maybe it's just me getting older, but time just keeps on going faster and faster. And
it seems like seasons. It used to be months. Now it seems like seasons. Like all of a sudden it's like, okay, you got to put away the heavy coat. I'm like, I feel like I only used it like a couple of times.
I just got it out.
Yeah, it's like got to break out the shorts and no more dressing in layers and all that. And then next thing you know, this person's birthday, that person's birthday, it's Christmas already. Oh my goodness. So
well, we're looking at, so 5 months ago, we're already almost at the end of May. We're almost halfway through the year already from 2024. Right. Man, I cannot believe that. So I knew it had been a while ago, but when I saw 5 months, that hit me. And so I was saying this right at the intro here, just shortly before coming on to your conversation, you invited me on there. I had put out, I was like, oh, I'm going to do this YouTube thing. I'm going to try it out. I'll see what happens with it. And I threw out a video. And I mentioned in there, the idea of maybe doing a movie club to get, somebody on, to talk to get to know a little bit better, and then talk about a movie that we maybe watched ahead of time for that.
Great idea, man.
Well, I appreciate it, but I would say, I think I still would have done it, but I don't think I would have done it as quickly as if you would not have given me that gentle nudge on the channel. I think that gave me that little boost, in a good way, like you got it, go for it. Don't be scared. You're never going to be perfect. Don't wait to be perfect. Go out and just start doing it. So right off the bat, I'm going to say I appreciate that, because I think that really got me rolling for it.
My whole thing about that, and probably what led me to say that to you, is I know how I was getting started. When I was getting started, it was like pandemic, and I was about 18 months into watching other people's videos, saying, oh, I don't have a 4K camera. I got to get a 4K camera. Or maybe I just need a camcorder. What about lights? I don't have lights. Maybe I could use my son's ring light that he never uses for gaming, even though that's why I got it. And I had all these excuses. And one day I saw a video from Think Media, and their tagline is, you got to just hit record. And there's something about that just like, wow, you're right. And, I keep saying I'm going to take it down, but if you go back to my early videos, for one, I was coming off of a major medical illness, but two, I looked like I was short of holding up a newspaper. I was so stiff and so nervous, like my eyes are like open like this, like. So you realize that the earlier you start with something that's going to be repetitive, like movie club, the quicker you get more comfortable with it. So that's why I was like, dude, just start, because you'll look back at episode 1, we're up to 19 now. And when you're at 52, 71, 99, going on to 100, you'll look back and say, oh my gosh, I can't watch number 1. But the thing is, you would have come so far that it seems like a lifetime ago, and you've already, upgraded your craft and have improved in just so many different ways, from, hosting and producing content to booking guests, whatever the case may be. So the earlier you start with something like this, the better it is. I feel the same way about the conversation. So,
So that makes me that in having those that conversation with you as well, and then like talking about this, it made me feel so much better, because I think a lot of times, or at least with me, and maybe other people fall into this too, where you feel like you're the only person that has that stumbling block of like, I'm not good enough to do this. I don't have this or that. But then hearing you saying you were going through those exact things, I don't know. It's not like in a bad way. It's comforting to me to be like, okay,
yeah,
I'm not alone.
yeah,
Somebody else has these same apprehensions, some,
hmm,
these stumbling blocks they're coming across of doing what they want to try to do.
yeah,
And it's nice to have somebody reach out and do that. So first and foremost, I want to say thank you, because you had nothing to benefit from having me on your show. And that's not being
yeah, yeah,
deprecating. I can't talk right tonight, but you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not
yeah,
putting myself down, but it's nice to have somebody that has done it, knows it, has gone through that, had those stumbling blocks, went past those, and,
yeah,
is succeeding with that, and willing to have somebody new coming out to share. And like I said, like, there were so many times I had questions and you were just like,
yeah.
ask me
And
if you have a question,
still
ask me.
mean that.
And
I
you do
still
it, and
mean
you do
that.
it. Yeah.
I,
Yeah,
I think
absolutely.
I think the problem is we have our own apprehension, because it's like people say, "Hey, if you need anything, just reach out," or
Yeah.
whatever,
Yeah.
and you could hear the, not, I don't even want to say phoniness, but like the surface level, like you don't really mean that. You're trying to be cordial. You're trying to be nice. I mean it, because I know I had tons of questions, and my questions were like so trivial getting started. I
Me
mean,
too,
I
with
could
you.
tell you, I think I met with Bob from Bob's Blu-rays like 3, 4 times for him to teach me StreamYard. And he's like, dude, it's just this, this, and this. I was like, oh, it's like PowerPoint in a sense. He's like, you
Yeah.
know PowerPoint? I said, I taught PowerPoint for 20 years. I used to be an application
So
trainer.
yes.
He's like, you don't need me. And it's true. We hold ourselves back with our apprehension of doing things. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna try things out. I'm not gonna break anything. I'm gonna mess up. You know how many times I start a live stream and I'm on mute?
Oh, I started talking to you backstream on mute. I did that right now. I'm like,
I do
I
that
always,
live
I always
to this
joke.
day.
Oh, I've done it. I've done it. Or I come back and I think I'm off mute, but that's where
Yeah,
I always joke around. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm almost pro. I'm
yeah.
almost pro at this point.
And I know there are so many people that helped me get started. Some of them are in the chat. I mean, Kenny is one from mid level. Mr. Tony's another one. And sometimes people don't even realize that they're being an asset to you. They're
Oh
being
yeah.
helpful to you. So my whole thing is, hey, if I've been through something and I'm going to be able to help someone else go through it and be easier, or have them have a resource in me, or me help them reach a resource, I want to do that, because this is not hard. Making content is not hard. What is hard is things like consistency,
Hmm.
originality, finding your niche, your audience.
Yeah.
Those are hard. And then all the things that will appeal to get the algorithms and all that stuff, if you're into that, those are the hard things. But like what we're doing here, I would rather do a live with someone like you than to sit in front of my camera and do something pre-recorded. And it gets me more views when I do the pre-recorded than the lives, but there's no connection for me.
I'm I'm feeling that's the way I have gone. I went
Yeah.
down that path and I can't come back from it. I love like this. I love talking to you, and here in a second, I'm not ignoring people in here, but I love
Yeah.
getting into the chat.
Shout
So
out to everyone in the chat.
yeah, we'll get into the chat too, but I love doing that, but that's a nice balancing act. I'm still
Hmm.
trying to figure out, but, so I'd say I love, like you said, having people that have been doing this that are willing to share and help new people out. You definitely are a big one that has been a part of that. And I take away different things from each person, but that's like from you, it's like, like help people out. Like it's not something to safeguard, like, oh, these are my secrets, I
Yeah.
can't tell you to do it. Like if we all succeed, it keeps it going and keeps things
Yeah.
like this happening. So
I come from one of my hobbies besides movies is music.
that
Since I
might come
was
up tonight.
since single digits, I found a way to DJ a party, an event, something. I 70s parents, they actually used to have like cocktail parties.
Oh yeah, yeah,
I used to DJ my parents' cocktail parties,
that's awesome.
and I couldn't. This was all before 10.
Yeah,
So by the time I reached teenage years, college days, and the thing I always remember is if someone had an exclusive, they would take like a label and cover the label on the record so you didn't know what it was.
okay,
And I hate that because it's like I got this remix or whatever it is, you can't have it. But
yeah.
nowadays people like here, share alike. So I'm more of that mentality. It's like I know something, I have something, I want to share something.
So I love that, and that's something I took from you, or what I would like to try to do back as well. As if I can continue doing this as long as you have, I hope that's something I can do for somebody else. So
Mhm.
it's kind of one of those. It's a cool feeling to, or at least for me, and I think you get that too, to be able to help somebody out
Yeah, it feels
and
good.
and see that even if it's just like, if this is all the farther I go, I'm happy because I've met some really great friends through this,
Me too.
and I'm still having fun with it. So I hope I can. You help me get going on that. I hope I can do that for somebody else too. And it's kind of one of those things that hopefully we can keep on putting that out there. And I love having more positive than negative that we usually see.
These
But
people are chomping at the bit here.
okay, I'm gonna get in here. I'm sorry. I know I've been bad. I got talking to you too much. I'm sorry, but
It's all good.
we got Johnny in here saying, "What's up,
Johnny.
cool kids?" We got to say hi to all these people. That's why we're here. Get the chat going.
What's up,
Jeff
Jeff?
in here. Good evening, everyone. I'm finishing the movie right now. It's just about done. So you're probably done by now, as much as I've been talking. So
It's all good.
Tony,
Mr.
as you
Tony,
said,
there you
is in
go.
here. Love
Thank
seeing
you for all of
Tony.
your help, sir, over the years. I appreciate you. You're a good man.
I would agree with that completely. That's probably, we can repeat that probably multiple times through this
Mhm.
whole chat. But we got Holland in here. Good evening. He's also always out here, always
Yep.
supporting.
Him, Adrian.
Yep. And Steve
another one.
Moody. Yep. Hey, everyone. Saying hi to Tony. All right. This is where I got to be. We got Dell in here. What's up, Dell?
Brother Dell in the house.
Always love seeing Dell in here. He is a gentleman I was lucky enough to meet in person, and hopefully you and I will be doing that sometime in the future as well.
Soon.
I hope so. I hope so.
We're too close for that not to happen.
I know, right? It's not that far away, but you don't have to fly. You can just get in the car and drive.
Pretty
Takes
much.
a little while, but we can do it.
Yeah. I drove to Minneapolis. I could do. Yeah, that's easy.
Yep. Saying hi to each other. If I'm flying through these a little bit, everybody, because I know I'm behind. If I miss anybody, I apologize. It's not on purpose. Just I know we got a lot of saying hi to each other. Yep,
That's me.
absolutely. Yep. Hey Tony. Hey Jeff.
What's up, T?
Oh, I missed. Sorry, Tiana. See, I get going too fast. I'm still working at this. Tiana, thank you. She's another one that
She's
is
a
always out
sweetheart.
there, grinding, helping people out, supporting. And I
Definitely.
love seeing her putting some more videos out too. No pressure, but whenever you enjoy doing it, Tiana, I'll be watching them. What's up? Johnny saying Corey King of Conversation tonight. Yeah, King of Won't Shut His Mouth is probably what you're saying. Allie.
He calls me that every time I step into a chat room with something. I appreciate it, man.
You're the king of conversation. I'm the king of won't shut his mouth. So we'll go with that.
What's up, Allie?
Allie, good seeing you in here. Saying hi to each other. I'm kind of jumping through here. Hey, Corey and KB, hope you're both having a great evening. We are. Hello, Mom.
Yeah.
That's Jeff's mom, but I call her Mom affectionately. So
That's cool.
I always joked around because that same thing happened with my mom growing up. Small town, rural area. She was a substitute teacher. And before she got into that, she knew all of us and all of our friends. And so when she'd come in to substitute, it was like, "Hey, mom," and it was kind of funny because somebody that didn't know her or didn't know the situation would be in there and be like, "How many kids do you have?" You
Right?
know, when you
All these kids,
got
mom?
like 14 kids go walking by saying hi, mom. But
That's funny.
it's always fun. I love this. Thanks everybody for jumping in here, just
Yeah.
saying hi to each other. We'll roll through here real quick, and I'll jump back in here when we get to some questions and conversation pieces here. But I'll kind of run through some of these. Yeah, exactly. I was thinking this too, Tony.
Yeah, he
KB's
saw
got
me
quite a
messing
point.
with it beforehand. I was just going through like some different programs that I
Each one
have.
was cool though, because you were like, I was like, oh, that's cool. Oh, that's cool. And I'm like, I'm boring.
I like because it's a thing like which one reflects off my face better because you don't want to look like you're half dead, but at the same time the colors may be cool, so
Yep.
you might have to move the lights further back. It's a process. It's a process.
Yep. I'm still doing the baby steps to work towards
Once
that.
again, that's another example of someone helping you. I saw
Yeah.
who has cool lights. Okay, Garrett, Born to Be Rad. He has cool lights. Mel has cool lights. Wait, Justin has cool lights. Wait, the Rad Pack has cool lights. So
They got it
who's
going
the
on.
easiest one I could reach out to? I'm gonna like Justin. I'm gonna come over to your house and I'm just gonna check out your lights. And
Yeah.
he gave me all his Amazon links and said, "Get this. This is okay. Definitely get this first." And it's little things like that that you appreciate when people help each other. I'm not taking anything from his aesthetic. I'm not taking views from his channel. He's just helping me up my game. That's how I see it.
Yeah. But that's what I love is when people are willing to do that. Cause I mean, sometimes I take it for granted. Not everybody is willing to do that.
Mm-mm.
Some people are like, no, this is my thing. You find your own way. I find that in the business world too, a lot
True.
of times. But then there's other times where people are like, hey, if it helps you out, it helps us out, the whole
Yeah.
community. And it's cool when you got
Because
people
they're going
doing
to
that.
be on to something else
Yeah.
and you're going to be happy with what you just got. So,
Yeah. Absolutely.
yeah.
Allie's being nice and Corey and KB, such great
Aw,
guys. Thank you, Allie.
you're a sweetheart too.
She is. Got Steve in here, Excelsior Movie
Hey.
Reviews. Hey,
He had a
everybody.
nice little video rant the other day. I
I was
appreciate that.
watching
I was
that.
watching it. It was
I,
good.
so I'd say, yeah, if anybody wants to watch that, not to go too far into it, but when we're talking about the movie tonight, it kind of ties into that where it's kind of hard. It's that balancing act of talking about or reviewing a movie without spoiling it.
Mm-hmm.
And for when we get into the movie tonight, I can throw up a little spoiler banner and it's
Nice.
fair game at that point. But it is a tricky act to the whole art of reviewing a movie. And if you're doing a spoiler free
Yeah.
review of a movie, I definitely see there's a,
One thing I've seen some of the larger channels do is the initial, let's say it's a new movie coming out. Let's say it's Furiosa tomorrow.
yeah,
They will go ahead and give you the spoiler free version, and then they'll wait a week, and then they'll come back with the full spoiler version where they could talk everything, saying basically if you want to see it, you start the opening weekend, and it's pretty much all over the thumbnail, so you're not going to click on it accidentally, but
right.
kind of like giving you a heads up, like, hey, spoiler free this time. Next time we're going to go all out.
Yeah.
And from a content perspective, it's twice the content. So
Yeah. Actually. Yeah. The same content you watched and you
Mhm.
just get to repackage it,
Yeah. Or
in a different
sometimes
way.
they'll do like a pre-recorded and then a live for the full review. So
Yeah. But I will say, like you said, I love the people that definitely put it up front on the thumbnail, like spoiler, like or spoiler
yeah,
free or spoiler review.
yeah.
And just so you know, going into it.
Spoiler alert.
Yep, exactly. Got saying hi to Steve. Oh, I skipped over Laren. Laren's in the house here.
Laren!
Good evening. Good evening to you, sir. Always
Always
good
good
to see
to
you.
see Laren. Always
Absolutely.
good.
Absolutely. Got a lot of highs back and forth. Always love seeing this. This is what's fun. That's where I'm like kind of hooked on live streaming now, where it's
Mhm.
like I get to have the instant interaction with you, but then also anybody else that's jumping in the chat and saying hi to each other. And
Yep.
hey, Laren, are you behaving tonight?
That's very unlikely.
I figured Tony was going to be asking me that. I didn't know if he was going to chastise me for the other night.
He knows I'm here.
Keep me in line.
Mm-hmm.
Saying hi to each other. I love it. So sorry, everybody. I know I'm running through these really quickly, but got a lot of highs. But I love it. I love it. Keep it going. And if you have any questions, even, this is KB. I know you're jumping into my unorganized world of free form going all over the place live stream. So if somebody wants to throw a question out there for us, we can hit it too.
I'm here for it.
I say any day is a good day when you get to hang out with a friend. So I'm like, we're hanging out, friends. So it's a good day. So whatever we end up talking about and how long we talk about certain things, I'm not too worried about it. So
yeah.
We got Happy Optimist in here. Hey, all. The youngest cinematic OG is on the board. Doobie-doo. Good to see you, man. Been seeing you jump in a lot more. I appreciate it very much so. Johnny, what's up? Got saying hi to each other. Oh, there's somebody we were just talking to not too long ago.
That's right. What's up? AJ and Christy in the house.
AJ and Christy. In Love with Horror.
Had a great conversation with them last night. Definitely check out their channel. Check out their podcast. Good people. Good people. I can't wait to vibe with them again.
They are such... Yeah, that's like somebody reached out to me after when I had a live stream with them, and they were like, oh, that was a really great live stream. And I'm like, with any of these, it's like hard not to have a live stream when it's just good people like that. I mean, it's just, there's genuinely, and like you too, just like good, honest people that just want to talk about movies and have a good time. And it's kind of hard not to have fun doing that. So yeah, definitely. So I'm pretty sure everybody knows who you are when they're coming in here. So I'll say this, when we're plugging AJ and Christy there, definitely check out their channel and definitely check out the conversation that KB on his channel had with them. It was a great one. Definitely do that. So before I forget, and we can also reach back to this, but you want to throw out just like where people can find you, anything you got going on, you want to, plug?
KB Loves Movies. It's the channel. It's the Instagram. It's the movement. I normally do conversations with people, one-on-ones. I also have something called a round table, where it's a one-to-many format, kind of like a panel discussion. We have one coming up tomorrow night. So this has been a fun but busy week. But one thing I wanted to do after the Oscar season was over, the award season for movies, after the Oscars and everything, was I wanted to talk to a few people about what they thought about the state of the movie industry is. Because, if you're a physical media collector, you're thinking just physical. If you're, a streaming person, you think it's just sad. If you only go to the movie theaters, you think it's just cinema. But all three of them combine to, what the studios see, what the labels see, even the boutiques, they all rely on each other in some way. So I'm going to be with Tracy, Nerdy Film Girl.
Oh, yeah.
And also John Automates and the Bone Bridger, two friends of hers. And we're just going to talk about the state of things. And I'm just going to be leading the panel. I really want to hear from their perspective, especially the fellas, because I know they're both involved with marketing and so forth. And Tracy always has a beautiful and interesting perspective on things. And she's a movie goer.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
She's always in the cinema. So I appreciate her angle on things. So yeah, the round table is tomorrow night. I want to say like 7 Central, so 8 Eastern. I'll double check that time. But yeah, we always like to talk movies, and that's what the channel's about.
That will be something I will check out, but unfortunately, I'm going to have to hit the replay on that one because I have a daughter that is graduating high school tomorrow, and that's right at the time when the ceremony is supposed to be going on. So
that's a big thing, man. I remember my kids went through graduation.
Yeah, this is my last one.
Yeah, it hits different.
Yep, exactly.
It hits different, and if they go on to college, that hits different too, because it's like, you want to celebrate yourself in a way. You're like, forget her. We did it. We did it. How many times we sacrificed? those last minute, oh, I got to take this in tomorrow for school. How many times?
Oh yeah. Or
We
can you get me to
we did it.
practice? Or can you do this or
Yeah.
that? Or
I still remember we were celebrating at our youngest daughter's graduation. We were like, hey, we did this.
yeah.
All
Yeah.
three of them, we did this.
Yep. You're welcome.
Yeah, literally. Give us, a cap and gown.
Yeah,
We
exactly.
earned this.
Yep. No,
But
it's a weird feeling though when it's the
hmm
youngest one going through.
it's
So
transitional too.
yep,
We're
absolutely.
still getting used to the almost empty nest, but
Yep.
it's
Yep.
different.
It will still be a transition, but I will definitely check out that replay. So no, that's cool.
Yeah.
I'm glad to know that's going. You have been busy this week, man.
Yeah.
Wow.
I go through ebbs and flows like that. It's like sometimes I'm like, do I even have anyone this week? No. Okay. Other
That's
times
okay.
it's usually like 1 or 2 hits of the week, but this week it was like
Oh, 3.
here, back to here. So I love it.
Yeah, it's good to do that once in a while, and you can have
Yeah.
the little break and then the go hard at it a little bit. And I'll hit this one quick. Gizmo's giving me a hard time, but Gizmo, I won't read it, but I love you, man. Thanks for jumping in here. I know you're giving me a hard time. I love
My
you, man.
goodness.
I love you, man. Saying hi to each other. Oh, we got Mega Mike in here saying hi.
Mega Mike the Movie Man. We've got
Always
something
good to-
coming up with him at the end of next month too.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
He's been a busy guy too.
Always busy.
Yeah,
always
he's always-
hustling.
Yep. Games or his game shows or his pre-recorded videos. He always seems to have something. Always has something going on. But saying hi to each other. I love this. It's kind of a hard thing because I hate that I kind of fall behind on the chat, but I love the just people chiming in,
Yeah.
going for it. So
That's half
It's-
the fun.
yeah, absolutely. Comrade Gizmo, yeah. Johnny's giving it back to Gizmo there. Thank you, Johnny. Hall of Famer Johnny. Yep, he's got that coming up on Bob's Blu-ray.
That's
coming up
right.
Here. That is pretty cool. Saying hi to Allie. But we got Mama Blu-ray in here, Bonnie.
What's up, Bonnie? Always good to see you.
I love seeing you in here. Thanks, Bonnie.
Yeah.
I know I'm newer to you, but I enjoy seeing you jump in here. I've seen you around, and thank you so much for jumping in. Even if it's for KB, it's okay. I'll take it.
That one I won't deny. I got love for Bonnie, and she got love for me.
Oh, she's awesome. She's awesome. I'm not one yet, optimist. Not yet. Oh, you'll be getting there. You got it lined up though, man. The Hall of Fame. KB is such a huge supporter. My conversation made me feel way more comfortable with trying this whole thing out. And I'll echo that. Exactly what Jeff said. So
I
that's
mean,
awesome.
my whole thing is when I have people on, I don't ask them how they feel, if they're nervous, anything like that. We're just gonna do it because I'll pick up on the vibe, and my biggest thing is I want the person to feel comfortable, because when you feel comfortable, that's when you're really going to get into the conversation and everything.
Yeah.
And quick story, my friend who's now been on the channel twice was so nervous, and we were only going to do it like 60, 75 minutes. And I spent like the first 35 minutes not talking movies, talking photography and everything like that, because that's her wheelhouse. And I was like, if she feels comfortable talking about her passion and her employment, it's going to be like, okay, now I could switch to movies, and she's already cool, and she could remember, hey, it's me, nobody else, just me. It's just us. And after that, everything was just funny and great time.
I feel that's the same way with me. Even when there's other people here, it turns into more a feeling with me of like, we got a group of friends at a table at a restaurant, and I might be talking with you for a little bit, and then a couple people chime in and we talk with them. And it kind of just feels more natural that way. But I still get nervous with it though. I'm not afraid to admit that, like going on and doing it. But do you still get any butterflies going on, or you're just like, it's old hat, I got it?
No, I do, because sometimes it's just anxiety of like, how is the person going to feel doing it? How long is it going to take for them to get comfortable?
Yeah.
Live, sometimes it's funny. People could do something and it's fine. And then when they go to do it live, it's like, oh. And some people are intimidated, and I'm like, hey, all these people on the side, they're a part of it, but you're the guest. That means they're here to hang out with you.
Oh yeah, they just want to have fun, hang out, and
Yeah.
have chat, hang out with you, and
And that's the whole thing. It's all about trying to get people to the point where they're comfortable.
yeah,
If they're comfortable right off the bat, we're just gonna, shoot the stuff and have a good time.
yep, yep, absolutely. No, I agree with that all the time. But I still say it never fails when I do that little countdown timer. I want to change it probably and have different music because that music now is like
Yeah.
it's anxiety to me.
I
Like,
had to
hear
do the
that.
same thing. I had to change the music because I
I
was
got to
like,
do it.
I don't need something that sounds or reminds me of like 24 with Kiefer Sutherland. It's like I feel the intensity building. I just want to be like, oh, this is cool. This is background music. And then,
Yep.
oh, here we go.
Yep.
What's up, everyone? It's KB. I love movies,
Yep.
and just go from there. So,
Yep. I need to change it, have much more calming and not like countdown ish.
I mean, a lot of royalty free music out there. Find something that fits your mood. You know
Yeah.
who does a great job at that? James from 20th and 21st movies.
Yeah.
His countdown music changes from time to time and never sounds like it's about to begin.
Yeah.
It doesn't have that anxiety ridden feeling about it. So
Yeah. Like what I'm doing.
it's cool breeze, and it just matches James' aesthetic.
Yeah. He's a very
overall.
cool, laid back guy. I
Yeah.
love listening to him. I've gotten quite a few Criterion recommendations from his videos, but
He's good for that.
yep, absolutely. AJ and Chrissy were saying we definitely have that stumbling block ourselves at times. You are not alone. And that's the thing. I think you feel like you're so unique and alone with some of those things. And then you get talking about it at people who do it or thinking about doing it. And you figure out you are not alone with that. And so it's always cool to hear, even like, big channels like yourself. I mean, they've been doing awesome. I love, they're a great, I love their setup and everything. They're
Me
a
too.
cool couple.
And I have to
couple.
correct you. I am not big. I am far from big.
Okay. You're big to me. How about that?
Here's the thing. I have 2 years worth of conversations. That means I have 2 years of people that know about me. I think if it stretches further than that, it's a lot. But honestly, I think when I was getting started, having the conversations with people that, like I said, I spent the previous 18 months getting to know or watching their videos, by the time I got a chance to actually have a verbal conversation with them, I felt like I knew Garrett. I felt like I knew Susan. I felt like I knew Ken and Tony and James, because it was like, you've lived in my living room on my big screen for the last X amount of months. But honestly, I'm not monetized. I don't have 1,000 subscribers, much more 26, 13, 14, 117,000. I'm not that big.
But what I think, and maybe this is me being naive, but what to me I think means more, what I see with your channel is people engaging.
Yeah.
So okay,
that's more important to me.
So that's what I mean. Is like, so maybe you're not 1,000 subscribers yet. We'll say that yet. Yeah. You're not yet, but you're on your way to it. You're not yet, but okay, if you're not monetized, but what I love seeing is when I tune into your conversations or your interviews or your videos, I see a lot of interaction, and that I think means more, because I've seen some people with some pretty big subscriber numbers that will do live streams that they don't have a lot of people interacting in them. And that's not a knock on anybody.
Some incentive for them to be there. Maybe a giveaway or whatever. My whole thing is quality over quantity. And, I don't care how long it takes me to get to a certain milestone or whatever. I'm not really here for that. If I think back, and this is something I encourage people to do, you hit a year, you hit 5 years, whatever it is, think back to why you started.
Yeah.
And always, you don't have to get back to something if you always remember where you started and you keep coming back to it. I started because, and I said it last night, I've said it 100 times, I'll drive my family crazy if I just talk about movies all the time. They'll probably tell you I do talk about movies all the time, but limited friends that were into movies the way I did, much more with like physical media collecting and all that. And I just wanted to be in an atmosphere where I could be like, yo, Second Sight, right?
You're
And
right.
they'd be like,
You'd be
yeah,
like, yeah,
and not only understand what I'm talking about, but also vibe along with that.
yeah,
Or, we could talk about the movies that we actually watch. So it's not just about packaging and all that stuff, but
yeah,
movies and how they hit us, and what movie can you just put on and watch every day? What movie do you actually do that to, if that's
yeah,
something you do? And just knowing that there are people out there like me, like you've said that a couple of times, that feeling like you're alone in a
hmm,
certain thought or feeling or situation, and then you realize you're not.
right.
So my whole thing is every time I have a conversation, like last night with AJ and Chris, two new best friends.
They're
I, I,
awesome.
I started saying that to Mariah Owens, the producer we had on a few weeks ago. Every time I talk to her on IG, now I'm like, "What's up, new best friend?"
Yeah,
She's like, "Hey, what's going on? When are you coming out to LA?" It's like that connection
yeah,
is more important to me than, wow, I got $17 in my account for
right.
I could almost buy a 4K.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not important to me as much as, hey, every week there's Adrian James, there's
Yeah,
Hall and Oates,
yep,
there's Prince coming in with 5011 questions. I
yeah,
love it. There's a monkey doing an intro for me.
yeah,
Whatever the case may be, I know people that I could say, hey, I don't even ask anymore. I just can assume, hey, promote this for me, promote this for me. And they'll do it because we have that connection, we have that thing, and same thing in reverse. So I'd rather have that than, 5,000 subscribers or whatever I'm supposed to be at right now.
yeah. No,
Doesn't make sense
absolutely.
to me.
No, absolutely. Like I said, I always love seeing the interaction on your live streams, and to me that means a lot. I think that is a cool thing to be able to see that.
Big in
So,
that way. I
yep,
see what you mean.
yep. Fish was saying, oh, if I could,
My favorite fish is here.
well, I'm trying to, okay, for some reason.
It's usually I
Oh,
normally put a star to see
yeah, but
where I left
it
off.
was weird. It was like lagging. It wasn't coming up. But here we go now, Fish. Sorry, long overdue. But good evening, Corey and KB, my friend. Hello, chat.
You don't
Good to
know how
see
much
you.
I love fish. I
Fish is a
love
good,
fish. I
good,
love
good
Andy,
person.
man. I can't tell you how much I love Andy. He's such a good dude.
Good. No, that's what I was to say. Another one that there's like so many people like, and I know not everybody can be happy and like positive all the time. None of us can be, but definitely one that most of my interactions have always just been like, wow, are you always this happy or like this positive?
Yeah,
It's like, I know we always can't be that way, but it's cool to have that,
yeah.
that
Fish is Fish is
feeling
a
that you
really
put
good
out.
dude.
Yep. Absolutely. KB helped me get more comfortable on camera after being on his channel.
Yeah, yeah.
I agree with that too.
Someone else I had on in his early days. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. And it's not like I'm on some crusade or something like that. It's like honestly, I come across people. They're interesting. Right now, I have a list of 100 and what is it up to 104 recommended people to have conversations with, and there's nothing that says I'm gonna go in order. I'll skip around and come
Yeah.
back to, like when I was having the 31 chats in 31 days things in October. I went back to when I had Mika and Kira on, and they recommended Kat from Reanimate Her.
Yeah.
And now I'm spending Sunday mornings with my cup of coffee and watching Kat, and it's like that connection was made. And sometimes I come across AJ and Christy, and I'm like, bump that list. I need to get with these two right here.
Yeah.
Then they end up, on in a couple of weeks. So
Yeah.
there's no rhyme or reason to it. It's just what I go for.
Well, and it's kind of crazy how like, not that I'm like that big or anything like that, but like, so I'm not ever trying to say that, but like, there's so many people I want to talk to that it's kind of crazy when it's like, okay, if you're trying to keep to like, say one stream a week,
Mm-hmm.
that's 4 people in a month.
Yeah,
Well, I mean,
it goes fast.
yeah. So like it feels kind of weird when you like reach out to somebody and be like, "Hey, July 28th, are you available to
Yeah,
talk?" And they're like, "Oh, you got to schedule me out that far." I'm like, "Well, no, but that's
yeah.
really not that many
It's the
people when
best
you
way to
think
be.
about it."
It's the best way to be. You got to schedule people out. Otherwise, I for a while I was trying to do 2 months at a clip. So like we're coming to the end of May, I'll have June and July scheduled out.
Yeah.
But like you're saying, me reaching out to someone right now for July 28th, they were like, "Really?
I
Can
got
you talk to me a little bit closer to that date?" It's like, "You'll get busy.
Yep.
You'll forget. I'll forget."
Yeah. Well, and that's what I've had really good responses with it where, I think the initial reaction is like, wow, that is a little bit out there, but let's put it on the calendar, but can we do like a 2 week follow up ahead of time, kind
Yeah.
of a thing. Just
A
make sure,
reminder.
because things can change. I mean, even for me, so, but yeah, it's kind of, when you think about it though, how many people you've met on this. And if you're like, oh, if I'm going to do one a week, that's 4 people in a month.
Mhm.
That goes out quite a ways when you think about how many people are like, oh yeah, all these people, these cool people I met. And then like you said, some new people kind of roll in too, where you're like, oh, I'd like to talk to them too. And yeah, definitely. We got Happy Optimist in here saying, I love the fact that 90% of the people here call me by my persona name and only KB calls me by my real name.
Yeah, you put my government name out there, so I'm only gonna call you by Prince now. So
I never know. And that's probably the same with me too. People always have that. We're like, is it Wilkie or Corey? And I'm like, I'll answer to both. I've been
I
called worse
interchange
things.
I interchange between the two.
Yep, me too. Dell was saying KB has definitely talked me off a ledge or two.
That's my brother man right there. Queen's representative right there.
Yeah, he's a cool guy. I loved that was fun. So hopefully someday I'll be doing that with you, but it was kind of cool meeting him in person and shopping movies. It's kind of different when you meet people on this
Mhm.
whole YouTube crazy thing and you're actually in a shop with movies and like going through and talking and you're like, "Oh, what about this one?" Like, "Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, you should
Or
check
when
that one
somebody
out."
brings a movie over to you, it's like,
Yeah.
"You got this? You
Have
gotta
you
get
seen
this."
this? Oh, you
Yeah.
should see it.
That was St. Louis last year. We had such a blast.
That's
First of
awesome.
all was seeing Bob's face when we surprised him with Tim, and nobody had the camera out. I
Yep.
had mine and I hit record twice, so it recorded and stopped real quick. So
Oh,
no one captured the moment, and it was great because it was something that we shared.
yeah, it was something you remember.
Yeah, but then, like, being in, like, a vintage stock with them or something like that, and we're, like, basically just taking over different pockets of the
Oh,
store, and
yeah.
we're just, like, bringing stuff over. It's like, "You got this?
Yeah.
No? Oh, you gotta check this out. This is a good price. You should get that."
Oh yeah, it's like, this is steel. You never seen it? You should get it right now. And they throw it on your stack, And I had quite a few
Exactly.
movies from I had a little Tennessee trip where I got to meet Dell. And
Mhm.
there was quite a few that actually the one we have for tonight was, I think, when I went back in with Dell and uh we were like talking and I think I pulled that one out. I think that was one that he kind of said like, oh, it was him and Ryan. I think they're like, oh yeah, you should watch that one. So tonight, I love doing these things too. It kind of gives me a little kick start too. I had it sitting on my shelf and I never got around to watching it. So Allie was wondering what Optimus' real name was, but I think you said it there, Prince. It's a great name.
It is.
Just do it. Dell and everybody saying hi. I'll run through some of these. KB is amazing to talk to about anything. I'll agree.
Girl, I love you.
She's awesome. The more likes, the better. There you go. Go for it. Very informative, Mr. Work.
See?
The,
Putting the government name out there again.
we're getting personal. KB is so wise and well spoken, an absolute gem of a person.
I want to thank her and Anthony for coming on the channel in February. They are such a cute couple together.
I
So
agree with
cute.
you. That was a great stream too. So if anybody hasn't seen it, go back and watch. That's a great thing about all these. They're out there. Go back and watch them. And
Yeah.
that was a great live. Well, I mean, a pre-record. Either way, it was the great recording or stream, whatever you want to call it, that you had with them. I enjoyed that one quite a bit, and I agree with you. I've said that to them quite a bit, that I love seeing them putting out positive things they're happy about. Cause usually you see the opposite. So I always like to
True.
say, like, I love seeing like the good things that are going on, the happy things, even if it's big or small, whatever, just, it's fun. The connection makes it so much better. Yep. Absolutely.
It's true.
Yep. There we go. It's all that community love.
Yeah,
Agree.
some people think about that as a dirty word. And I'm like, I
Community
think it's
or
just, yeah,
yeah.
I think it's just your perspective on it and how you see it.
To me,
I don't know
it's,
how community could be a bad thing.
I was going to say, to me, I take it as a positive. So if somebody says community, that means that you share something, a love of something, and you're looking out for each other. I kind of, it's kind of, so to me, very, very positive. We got Mika in here. I'll say
What's
hi
up,
to Mika
Mika?
and Kira. I know this is probably just Mika, but I'll say hi to Mika and Kira because we were talking, you were just talking about them not too long ago, but
Mhm.
they're great ones. I'd love to
Yeah.
have them back on. They're two of those people that I don't know how you could talk to them and not have a smile on your face when you're talking to them. Like, they're
So
another
true.
ones that positive energy all the
So
time, it
true.
seems like, or at least anytime I've talked to them. But I really enjoy your vids, KB. Sue doesn't do lives anymore.
And I miss that. I miss her Wednesday night Q&As. I understand her reasons for not doing it anymore, but at the same time, it's like you kind of get used to staples, and that was a staple for me to the point that um, it was me, Susan, and then Bob would have something afterwards, like a Hall of Fame or something like that. So I just miss that 1, 2, 3 punch that we had together. But you know, she puts out a hell of a lot of content,
Oh,
so
she puts a lot of work out
it's
there.
not like anyone is really missing that besides someone like me. But I was just watching her upstairs before I came down, her video from earlier today. So
Yeah, she's always cranking stuff out. So that's where
mhm.
I get impressed by people like that, where I'm just like, wow, the little I do, and I feel like it's a lot of work, and then I see somebody that's like just pumping videos out, and not
lot
for
of
nothing. I mean, they're good videos, but
lot of
it's,
planning.
yeah. That's what I'm like. Apparently, she's a lot more organized than I am.
Her, Kenny, Tony, I give you
Mhm.
all credit for putting out daily content like that.
Absolutely.
Anybody else who does that same thing.
Got Gizmo in here just saying, I wish people could stop taking things personal. So many people get hurt just if someone trashes a film they love. What I love with movies is that we all have different tastes.
It's
Agree.
true. Um, I was just talking about when Mariah was on a few weeks ago, and I have the 5 takes, and one of the questions is, "What's a critically loved
Hmm.
movie that you don't like?" And she gave two, and two of them was um, Wonder Woman and Barbie, and I love them both. But I was like smiling when she told me that because I want to hear her perspective. I want to hear what was the reason for that. And the whole thing about it is, I think people. I don't even have anything nearby, but people get hooked on things, especially franchises,
Mm-hmm.
Star Wars, you know, Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings, Marvel, DCEU, whatever it is. And that passion is so great that they want everyone to share in it. And when someone says, well, that was kind of weak, it's like you just told them, you're weak.
Yeah.
You're a bad person. You're terrible. But I think the thing that's always redeeming, and my wife will tell you, some of the music choices that I love to listen to, she'll just sit there and be like, "Mhm."
Oh, yeah. I'll
It's
have
it's
that.
art. A
Yep.
movie is art. If
Yep.
you tell me you don't like packaging, that's an individual thing. But when you talk about movies, music, painting, sculpture, it's all art, and art is so subjective.
Yeah.
It really is. It's what, don't yuck my yum. What I like, you may not like, but don't feel, for lack of a better term, don't get all butthurt about it because what you're saying is I must agree with you.
Yeah.
And that's one thing, and the gatekeeping is another thing. Like, oh, you can't tell me you're a Star Trek fan if you can't tell me what episode on the original series and blah 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 happened. Maybe I just like the movies. Maybe I just like J.J. Abrams' version of it. Maybe
Right.
I just came across it and I want to find out more. But people like you are just turning me off from even exploring it more because you want to gatekeep me before I even get into it. So I don't know. The whole thing is, I don't know your favorite movie. What's your favorite movie?
My favorite movie?
Yeah.
Oh gosh, it's so hard. And that's where I'm like, I always feel like I take a cop out route with
Give
it.
me
Like,
one.
so one that I threw out, I'll just say on the conversation, one that meant a lot to me was Superman, the original Superman, Christopher
Yeah.
Reeves.
There's people that don't like it.
Yeah,
Does that
exactly. No,
make
I agree.
does that make you like it less?
No, no, not
Me
at all.
either.
No.
Christopher Reeves was the move because all of a sudden it was like, wow, he's doing a lot better than George Reeves did
Yeah.
back in the day on TV. So
Yep.
yeah. Corey's
Well,
favorite is Titanic.
Titanic. That's got to be Gizmo. I haven't seen it
Yeah.
yet, but
Yeah.
it's got to be him. He's got to
And
bring
there's
it up
nothing
every
wrong
once in
with
a
that,
while.
Giz. Nothing wrong with that. I'll quote along the Titanic if you let me.
I'm probably way, way behind here. So
It's
sorry.
all good. And I apologize. I hate when people do that to me when they read
No,
it.
no, no. I don't hate it at all.
And I
I'm like,
looked down and it was just like, it made me laugh.
no, it didn't. That made me laugh. So no, I don't mind that
He's
at all.
a funny dude.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he is. We give grief back once in a while, so it's
Good.
always fun. But Steve
Yes,
was saying
sir.
KB's on the wheels of steel.
Okay, so that's where you are when I was talking about being a DJ. That's what
Okay.
he's referring to.
Yeah, so I'm probably like a half hour behind here. So.
Yeah, if you want to take a few minutes and catch up.
Sorry.
Oh,
I told you I'm
dude,
still a rookie. I'm
I'm-
still a rookie.
I'm just hanging out, bro. There's no need to apologize to me. Unless you're Canadian, I don't know, then apologize a million times. It's in your nature. I get it.
I'm Midwestern, so we apologize a lot.
No, you feel bad.
Okay. It seems like sorry comes out of my mouth a lot, and I get
you feel bad.
corrected about that. So they was saying, Corey, you've already proven yourself at Asset to me. Well, I appreciate
agree.
that. I'm
I
glad.
agree.
Well, thank you. That means a
agree.
lot from both of you. Truly does. Truly does. All right, I'm gonna skip by some of the highs. So I'm getting better, I think, at the whole comment thing. But Corey, relax. I will not steal the look from your Gizmo. I love you, man. I love you. We got Love Frequency with Dennis Quaid. That's a great one. Yeah. I haven't seen that in a long time, but definitely is definitely a good one. Adjustment Bureau has a Twilight Zone vibe to it. You know, I've never actually seen that one before.
I saw it once. I agree. I can see that. I've
Very
never seen
cool.
that one, Mr. Frost.
I haven't
The
either.
Old One?
I have not either. I'll have to maybe look that up. Are you guys checking out anything at the theaters this week? Do you have anything you got on the docket?
If I could get through this Mad Max box set,
Mm-hmm.
if I could get through that, I'll go see Furiosa.
I would really like to see Furiosa. I also really wanted to see, is it Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, the new one?
Yes.
That's out? Yeah.
Yeah.
I really wanted to see that
Fun.
one too. I don't
That
know
was
if I'll
fun.
get out in time or not for it. This month and next month have been kind of busy with things, not in a bad way, but just it's
Family
hard to get
thing.
out to, hard to get out to the theater. And
I remember those days.
yep, it's going to be winding down, but yeah, those are probably the two I would really like to see that are out right now or just coming out.
I tried to get my Deadpool tickets the other day, and I got the email. And as soon as I did, I went to my AMC app, and all of my favorite seats, center seats, were all gone already. So I
Well,
guess they sent the email out later than, people got to it earlier or whatever.
and I always love it. Narrows it down for me too, because I always love Tuesday nights because those are the cheap movie nights for
Mhm.
me at our theaters, where they're like half price or whatever. And so that just narrows it down even more. If I try to hit one of those, it's like one day of the week. But go through some of these here quick. Wow, the trifecta, the theater, physical, and streaming, and the effects on cinema sounds so fun.
Yeah, man. Stop in.
Maybe we'll have a question about that. Oh, thank you very much, Del. I know it's a while, but thank you. Yep. My youngest getting done. Hey, Anthony. Good to see you, my friend.
There you go. Shout out to the man right there.
So if I skip over anybody, I apologize. I'm going to kind of run through some of these pretty quickly. Oh, Anthony's trying to be like hardcore on the questions. Favorite sitcom of all time? Tell me now.
I'll leave that one up to you. I have
gosh.
too many.
I probably have different ones at different times in my life.
TV was my babysitter, so I have too many.
I have different ones at different time in my life and different reasons. Yeah, it's hard to say like one.
Mm-hmm.
There's some strange ones too. Like I'll always remember if I go like way, way back as a kid, I remember watching reruns of Hogan's Heroes with my grandpa.
Nice.
And then later on, I always remember late night after the news, they would have reruns of Rockford Files that I would watch with my dad.
That was a good show.
With Garner. And
Yeah.
so there's like ones like that I'm not saying the greatest show ever. I just have that tie like, oh, that was some time I spent with my grandpa, or that was some time I spent with my dad. The first couple seasons of I'll throw out Friends just because I was in college and we weren't quite to that age yet, but I don't know, it kind of hit a chord when we were like just starting college, and it was like, you know, them as being young out on the city and everything.
Kind of like that's the next step to get to.
Yeah. But so anyway, I could name so many others I enjoyed. I have some boxes back there of like Knight Rider and Miami Vice and, you know, Incredible Hulk and, you know, some fun ones like that. But
definitely.
Gizmo, you're funny. Got Mark in here. Hey, Mark. Saying hi.
What's
Thank
up?
you for joining in. All right, we'll fly through some of these really quickly. Gizmo, I'll put $20 to see Corey do the robot dance while listening to Matrix music. Maybe on one of your live streams. Maybe you'll need to do a live stream, Anthony, and I'll do it on there.
There you go.
Oh, yeah. Happy Optimus. Does Friends count? I would say yes. Yep. I was just throwing that one out there. Yep. I need to do a full-on intro roll-in. That countdown is a bit obnoxious. Yeah. I just need to change the music at least. I don't know. It seems like that countdown music will will definitely get me. All right, we'll read these, even though I know he's probably going to be poking fun at me, but I wish he did, Anthony. You always sing on the streams, and I talk terrible bad English, so Corey should definitely do the robot for us. Maybe on one of your guys' streams. We'll save it for that. KB does not need to be subject to that. So. Yep, Friends counts as that. Yeah, I'd rather have the engagement and the quality. Absolutely. All right, everybody, I'm going to fly through some of these. Oh, Corey, now I know your real name, everyone. When you see me, think of singer, think of movie Purple Rain. Yep.
There you go.
I got it now. Saying hi. Oh, yeah, we got Dave in here. I must have missed Dave. Oh, right there. Right there. I missed you, man.
Dave.
Sorry, man. I'm like I said, I'm a rookie. I get flying through them. So thanks for jumping in. I appreciate it.
Always good to see him.
Absolutely. All right. We got a lot of highs. I'm just seeing if anybody new's jumped in. If not, we might start putting a pin in here pretty quick. Corey, don't you know you're not supposed to watch our movies? We only have them to sit on our shelves. Yeah.
Some people really think so.
Yep.
It's like for when people come over, so you could say, look at all the things I have.
Yeah, exactly. I think Dell's talking about when we had that trip. He said Ryan was
will
with
make
us and talked me into talked you into spending some money.
He's like, look at all this MF Doom stuff they have. You have all of this? I'm like, no, and I will not have them when I walk out of this store.
Yeah, so. You should get that, guys. You should. Mm-hmm. Oh, this has probably been a while ago, so you probably already left, but got to get the dinner table, guys. Have a great night. Thank you, AJ
and Christy, for guys.
Jumping in. Andy's Cardboard Star Wars, favorite Star Trek film, and why? Thanks. Are you still doing good? I'm sorry, I'm still kind of just rolling through the chat and everything. Are you still hanging in there for
I'm answering the question
me?
here. My favorite Star Trek film, and it will remain that. I don't care what the other ones are involved. It is Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan. I remember the original episode on the original Star Trek, and I'm not even a Star Trek fan like that. But that was a very eventful day. I went to the flea market in Brooklyn, got myself my Atari, and then we went to see the movie.
Oh,
And
wow.
everybody was super hyped to see it because the first one was trash in comparison. So we were very happy to see Ricardo Montalban in his Corinthian leather all up on the screen. So we were very
That
happy.
that sounds like an eventful day. If you got an Atari and you got to go see that movie, that's
Yep.
kind of tops it off there. But no, I have to say that jumps out for me too. But it was that whole the ear thing that they
Mm-hmm.
did that
Oh,
always freaked me
oh.
out when I was a kid watching that.
Sometimes I think about that when someone says, "Oh, you made that song get stuck in my head like an earworm." I was like,
Mm,
"Don't use that term."
exactly. No, I always remember as a kid just, and I loved the movie. I'd keep on watching it, but man, I'd be
Mhm.
squirming while that was happening. So, uh, Del was just agreeing that Sue's live streams were great. Well, who knows? Maybe she'll do it again. But you know, you just got to do what you enjoy doing. If you don't enjoy doing it, don't do
Yep.
it. You know? Let's just rolling through here. So sorry, everybody. I know I'm probably skipping some here, but Troll 2 is so bad it's good.
We love those kind of movies.
Yep, absolutely. Oh, and then I finally get to the Corey's favorite is Titanic. Yeah, because Gizmo's favorite character of any movie is Rose. We'll just say that.
Okay.
No, it's really not.
I thought he was going to say Billy Zane.
No, he usually gets into he gets worked up a little bit talking about Rose, I think. But Jeff was saying art is subjective. What isn't subjective? Being a jerk about opinions, there's no call for that.
True.
Sometimes it seems simple, but
I think people just want everybody on their team, which is fine, but
yeah,
it shouldn't be a forced thing.
yep. Corey, if you can't tell me what channel the original Superman came on during 1970s in the syndication, then you aren't a Superman fan.
Exactly. All forgetting that it would be different channels on syndication based on what town you're in. So
Yep.
there's that.
I'll just throw a number out then. It was 8. It was 8 on my. No, I have no idea.
For us, it was 11. WPIX.
It's kind of funny because we only had like 4 channels for a long time, so it's like
Same.
some of us didn't notice, but KB squeezed Corey out of the Mood Watcher answer. Legend.
Nice. Nice. Yes, it's not always about a mood.
Yep.
Were you in the mood to watch this movie?
Yeah, I was. I really did want to watch this one because, like I said, I bought it on that trip when I was hanging out with friends, and it was recommended, and so I was looking forward to it. And then when it was on, when we were talking about some possibilities, I was like, oh, well, gave me an excuse to kick myself into gear and watch a movie that I have just sitting there. And
I wanted to get that Arrow, and I'm like, I have the Blu-ray and I have never opened it, and I'm like, I can't justify getting the Arrow set, even though I'm sure it's a fire set, but I can't justify it without even watching it again on Blu-ray. So I never got the Arrow set.
Yeah. Well, that's the only one I had, so that's why I got it. But I honestly just opened it up to watch it for this. So it was like sitting there, but I was like, oh, this is perfect. I can get another one checked off the list to actually watch. But we can run through a couple of these. But Happy Optimist was asking what music you grew up with, KB.
All over the place. My dad was my parents are from the Caribbean, so they listened to a lot of Caribbean music, West Indian, calypso, soca, all that stuff. And then he came here and he found multiple genres of music. So everything from Jefferson Starship to Willie Nelson and Conway Twitty to Johnny Mathis, Engelbert Humperdinck. So I was
that's all over.
Place. Kenny Rogers. And then I discovered my own kind of music. So everything from pop music to I was in New York for the birth of hip hop, so needless to say, rap music became part of that. R&B, soul, all that. So I'm a multi-genre kind of person. If something moves me, I listen to it. So
No, that's cool. That definitely, you do have a great mix there. But that's great though. You get exposure to so many different genres
yeah,
of
I won't be
music.
making a mashup of like Lil Wayne and Chances Are by Johnny Mathis anytime soon, though.
But that's always kind of funny though too. Back when we do more like burning CDs, like a mix CD or mixtape
Hmm.
kind of a thing, there's so many times where my wife, and it might have been at the time when she was my girlfriend, I'd be like listening to something in the car, and it'd go from one song to the other, and it was like jarring to her, where she
Yeah,
was like, "No, you can't go from that to that," and I'm like, "Well,
yeah,
that's just what I wanted to listen to all that," and I threw it
yeah.
on there.
That's how my mind works sometimes. If I don't set a specific genre and you hit random, ooh, you don't know what you're getting next. You might get spoken word, you might get, I don't know, Rachmaninoff, you might get, you know, you
But
might get Lil Wayne. I don't know.
keeps it mixed up a little bit. That's all right. We were talking about some of the stuff you had going on. Happy Optimist was Prince was saying like, when is the next center seat with Miss Kate?
We gotta plan that because it's summertime. She has kids. She has things going on. She's starting a business, so she's got a lot of things in the fire right now. But
Yeah.
we tend to go and do like a screening. Like the marketing companies and the studios will send us to a screener early, like on a Monday or Tuesday, and that's how we're trying to get stuff out by the end of the week. But yeah, we're overdue. For a matter of fact, I might put an episode of the conversation up as part of just having something up for the center seat. So
Yeah.
if not that, you should see an episode with me and Miss Kate pretty soon.
Cool. Very good. Uh, Jane Doe was saying the Wrath of Khan is also favorites standalone. Yep.
God. Yeah.
God. No, that's a great one. I think there's a lot of people that probably holds a special place for him if they like any of the Star Trek movies. But
Hmm.
Johnny was saying, yeah, it turns out you are a Superman fan. Comment rescinded.
You got me.
You got me. That's all right. Jeff was saying, so I've not seen very many Westerns, so the movie tonight was different from my usual jam.
Yeah.
No, that's all right. It's good to check out different things.
Yeah, there's so many great westerns. I still remember a few years ago when Ken was doing his monthly challenges, and he'd invite other people to do it. He had one month where it was all Stallone stuff, and
Mm-hmm.
gave my daughter a chance to see all the Rambos and rewatch all the Rocky films with me. And I think the month before he did westerns, and it was great because to this day, my dad will sit down and watch a Western, fall asleep watching a Western, wake up and know exactly where the Western was because it's a Randall Scott movie. So I know all that stuff. My grandfather used to make me quote 2 meals with Sister Sarah for him, long distance over the phone. So I know all that stuff. It may not be my favorite, but I have nothing against the genre as a whole, whether it's neo westerns, like I would even put something like Hello High Water
Yeah.
as like a modern western,
Yeah. Absolutely.
or old school classics like The Searchers and Red River, stuff like that too.
Yeah. I grew up with a lot of that too. And I have that same experience with a dad that would fall asleep and wake up and be like, know exactly where he's at in the
Don't you
movie.
dare turn off that TV or try to
Yeah.
change the channel. He's like, "What are you doing? I'm watching that."
I'm watching this. It's like you were just snoring 2
It's
seconds
like,
ago.
I look,
Uh,
Randall Scott's about to do something.
yeah, and he could like name exactly what's going to happen. But
Because he's seen it 50, 11 times,
yep,
so he knows.
exactly. All right, well maybe you'll know this. I don't, but that was saying.
Great picks. It was an on-screen video game that Channel 11 used to have. You
Okay,
would call in, and you basically would line up your voice with what was going on the screen. Yeah, crazy.
I'll have to check that
Thanks
out.
for the flashback, Del.
Oh, Gizmo's ducking out for tonight. That's all right. I know it's early morning for you, but
Oh,
has an angel that's going to be waking up in 3 hours. So see you next turn, and remember, better be dead. Oh, Gizmo, thank you for putting another little poke in there before you leave. So
Very
love you,
nice.
man. Good to see you. Michael Caine was great in Mr. Destiny. I haven't seen that one in a long time. I
Me
kind of forgot
either.
about that. Have a good one, Gizmo.
No, 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 not Jefferson Starship, Jefferson Airplane. They turned Starship in the 80s. Before that, they were
Airplane.
Airplane. That's 60s, early 70s, White
Little,
Rabbit days.
little different sound.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally different.
All right, we're gonna run through here real quick here. Um, so this maybe will be a good segue into this. So yes, I know I talk way too much, but is there a theme about movies tonight or anything that we're talking about? So when I
Oh
do
my.
this, I am a little aimless. I'll agree with it. So if you hang on for the ride, part of this is my guilty pleasure to be able to talk a little more in depth with a guest like KB tonight. But we did pick out a movie that we were watching ahead of time that we'll dive into. But yes, I have been reminded that I spend like this much time talking about that movie and like this much time like just chatting and hanging out. And
You know what's the beautiful thing about that? It's your show.
yeah, just like, well, whatever.
What you want to do.
Yep, absolutely. So maybe that could be our segue for right now. And not saying we
Yeah.
can't go back to this as well, but do you want to dive into the movie right now?
Sure thing.
All right. So one of them we were talking about, I was grabbing the copy of it, but we had the Sisters Brothers. And like I said, this was a fun one I got to pick up with some friends when we were at the Orbit DVD in North Carolina. But sitting on my shelf, and it was a good excuse to get it off there and watch this. So, is this was a first time watch for me?
Mhm.
You'd seen it before, correct?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes, I had.
So you're pretty familiar with it. You'd seen it multiple times, or
I saw it like one of those 1.5 times. So I saw it originally in the theaters. I was one of the people that contributed to their paltry box office results. Um, and then it was like the way I felt about it, I felt like I needed to see it again. So I watched it when it first came out on physical, but it wasn't my copy. It was a friend. I was watching it there, and then I didn't make it through the movie. So I'm like, I don't know if I like this movie or if I don't. So I need to see it again. So I believe it was Mr. Tony sent me an extra copy that he had of it, and I said, one day I'm just gonna sit down and rewatch this. Watch it on the big screen, whatever, and see if I really like this movie or not. So this was just an opportunity to do so.
yeah, no, absolutely. And like I said, it was a great excuse for me to get that shrink wrap off of it and actually
Yeah.
use something I purchased. So it was kind of funny when I originally looked it up on IMDb. It's a very, very short, simple when it's, they give the little blurb about the movie. And all they put on there is Eli and Charlie's sisters, an infamous duo of gunslinging assassins, chase a gold prospector and his unexpected ally in 1850s Oregon. I'm like, well, that's pretty simple. But this movie was, after reading that, I don't know, it went more than just that to me. I don't know. I don't know where to start with this one. I guess before digging into the story itself, how do you feel how it was shot? The visuals, there were some stylistic choices that it felt like they took with certain things, and I just wanted to get your thoughts on some of that.
Yeah. I just thinking back to the way the movie begins, and I'll try to keep it as spoiler free as possible.
Yeah, and if
Um,
we need to go into spoilers, I can throw a little banner up or
yeah, yeah.
something. But
Okay. Um, they took very broad liberties with the way it was shot. Like saying, "Hey, we're going to make this as pitch black as possible, but you're going to focus on things like gunfire,
yes,
and
I,
that's going to be the exciting element of what you see on the screen. And that's very risky. I think this movie takes a lot of risk. Just the fact that you're doing a genre in the 2010s, as it was, where it's kind of like a dead genre for most people,
Mm.
something that may have been enjoyed in the past, but maybe not so much today. And you're going to take two established stars in, in Joaquin Phoenix and John C. Riley, not typically known for anything outside of comedy, and have them star in this. And I'll talk about my feelings on that too.
Okay.
But I think they just took a lot of risks with this movie, including the cinematography. So it was almost like you wanted to see nighttime scenes more than like daytime scenes. You just gained a deeper appreciation for them.
I'll say I didn't write a ton of notes, but I was writing down some
Mhm.
things because sometimes I just like to watch the movie and I don't want to be like
Same.
writing too. But that was one thing that popped out right off the bat was that opening scene that you said that, and I wrote down like I just would opening scene was so dark, but then the flashes of gunfire. So
Hmm.
there was like the yelling and shouting, and I even went and turned my lights off in my room. I had them dimmed, but I shut it down because I was like, man, that's so dark, and I'm like, I can barely see anything, and you can hear them
Yeah.
yelling.
And if you had any source of light, it was just going to reflect off all that darkness.
Yep, yep. But then you just see the bright flashes of gunfire like back and forth, and then I'm like, okay, this is what they're intending to do with it. It's
Hmm.
kind of the maybe the chaos of the situation. I mean, that's kind of what they're experiencing too. It
Yeah.
wasn't like a well lit
They can't see
scene,
what they're shooting at.
right? Exactly. So I thought that was pretty interesting. I mean, that jumped out at me. But like I said, I at first was like, oh, I got to shut off the lights. I like were my TV too dark, or I don't know what was going on. But I'm like, but then yeah, soon after that, I was like, oh, that's what they're aiming for with the whole
Yeah.
thing. But so I'd say that that stood out to me a lot. But there was a lot of beautiful like scenery shots. I think like throughout the whole thing, it's beautiful, beautiful country. But there was just like a few different things where the whole like looking through like the looking glass, or the not the binocular, but they had like the looking scope or whatever, and it kind of like zoom in on something that they're looking at, and you don't see around that, and then it goes into it, and I just thought it was kind of interesting how some of those choices that they did with it as well.
Hmm.
Well, we can jump into that too. You were saying like, so that was something that caught you interesting, the characters. We got our two duos. We got
Yeah.
Joaquin Phoenix and John C. Riley as the leads of
Hmm.
this gun wielding assassins. And so what did you think about that right off the bat? I could, I think personally, Joaquin, I was like, okay, and then like John
Yeah.
C. Riley, I like him, but I'm like,
You're
okay,
like,
really?
Dewey Cox?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Jason Bates?
exactly. Yeah, or whoever he was in, yeah, Talladega Nights, or
I think I think when comedians take dramatic roles, it gives them a chance to kind of flex that skill that people don't expect from them. And I always say it's easier for a comedian to do a dramatic role than a dramatic actor to do something funny, because it has to be naturally in you. And for people to say, "Oh, he really has a comedic timing or something," people don't usually say that about dramatic actors. So if something comes through like that, it's like the exception to the rule. But you look at a lot of comedians and you see them go on to do dramatic roles. Robin Williams, Will Ferrell. We see it here with John C. Riley, last two being in Talladega Nights together. It's almost like part of being that comedian is having, the tears of a clown mentality. So it's like I can do something dramatic because it's in me. I just don't express it in a dramatic way or a traumatic way. It's always through comedy. So I think it's usually a good transition. And we've seen him do other dramatic roles since then. But the other couple, the other duo in the movie was more of a surprise for me. That would be Jake Gyllenhaal and Riz Ahmed.
yeah,
And at times, the movie plays where you have these two separate stories going on, the two brothers, and then these two men coming together, meeting, and their travels. and it's almost like two different stories that end up coming together. But at times, I found their story upon this rewatch to be more interesting than the brothers, because it's kind of like the brothers, they get caught up in what they're doing, and then of course you got all the, the fraternal nudging and all that stuff, talking about things. But the story of Warm and Morris coming together was more interesting to me this time. I got more out of that story than I did in the past viewings.
No, I could see that definitely, and that's what I was surprised I hadn't seen this one because, and maybe it was before. Well, no, all of them were kind of big at the time. I was thinking of the
I
date of the release, but
was
there's
thinking
a
about that
pretty good,
too. I think by that time, of course, you knew John C. Riley for his
yeah.
comedy. Joaquin Phoenix went through his weird phase and all that, but he still didn't get to, like, things like Joker and all that came
Hmm.
later. The only one I would say I didn't really know at the time was probably Riz Ahmed.
Yeah, and I've seen this later now, but then I automatically think of uh, oh gosh, is it Sound of Metal?
Yeah,
Yes.
such a
So,
great film.
yep.
Such a
Um,
great film.
so, and then there's some others too, but that was like one that really, as soon as I saw him, I was like, I kind of forgot he was in the movie and then I put it on. But yeah, I could see at the time I wouldn't have
Mhm.
known who he was. So it's kind of cool now that looking back at it, now it seems like a star-studded cast, but, and I didn't even realize it was, so there's like the Commodore until I
Like the
started looking,
hour.
I didn't
Yeah,
realize that was him at
yeah.
all.
I think that was, they said something like one of his last roles before he passed.
Okay.
Like the last one he did, or the last one that came out. Probably the last one he did, and then there were other ones that came out, posthumous, you know. So
Yeah, and they didn't show him a lot, but that's where one when I was just looking up IMDb, I was like, oh, I didn't realize that was
yeah.
him when I was going back and looking at that. So this one, it definitely was interesting, the movie, because it kind of went very serious routes, and then there was like little comedic
Hmm.
elements in it. So how did that work for you? Because it, or maybe you didn't see it the same way too, but to me, it just was like there was some dark, serious stuff, and then it kind of went to little comedic moments
Yeah.
through it.
Especially between the brothers, because
Yeah,
they try to convey that, like I said before, the fraternal nudging and teasing and talking about the school teacher and all that stuff. It's
yep,
like that's what brothers would do.
yep,
It's like, I'm gonna give you a hard time because you're my brother. Yes, we go on, we assassinate people, but at the end of the day, you're still my brother.
right,
I want to sit down with you and have a meal, and remember the times when we were younger and dad would come home drunk. Wasn't those the good old days?
yeah,
So
yeah,
it's like, and the thing is, because you have someone who is a comedian in there, it's those moments felt natural because that was more of the natural element. You didn't really have that between Gyllenhaal and Ahmed, so
right.
it was like a different storyline. So the comedic elements was definitely between the brothers in this one.
Yeah, no, definitely, I'd see that. And there was like little things in there. Like I said, it'd go very dark when, especially when they're diving into their past and some things that happened
Hmm.
that
Showing them
put them,
young.
yep, and putting them down this road of the life that they're leading. But then there was like little things I wrote down, like when John C. Riley's character bought the toothbrush and he figured out what that was. I don't know why, but I found it funny, and maybe it was just silly, but like they were explaining to him what a toothbrush is and the powder to use
Yeah,
with it, and
yeah.
he's sitting in the room with a little pamphlet. It's like instructions on how to use, and he's like
It
doing
was
it
still a
such
new
an awkward
thing.
way.
It was still a new thing. Late 1800s,
I know,
tooth powder was still a new thing. So
but
yeah,
he's like sitting there like so like painfully like trying to, and then like you said, he was like sitting there like, and he's like, and then he has a little smile like, oh yeah, it smells pretty good. Like, I don't know, he's like, there was like little things that were mixed in through there that
yeah,
it just caught
lighthearted.
me off guard, yeah, a little bit with what else was going on,
Yeah,
but
lighthearted, and I think that kind of helped balance the, I don't want to say extreme violence, but the extreme violent nature of what they did.
Right.
Yeah.
So how did you feel like the pacing went with the movie?
That's where I started having an issue with it. And I
Okay.
think that's what happened when I went to see it the second time, is that it's kind of like something's going to happen, so you're waiting for it to get to that point. Like, I know what's going to happen when they all come together, and you're waiting for that. But at the same time, it's like, and I made sure to watch this in the middle of the day, wasn't going to be sleepy. Still, I think it, if I have any critique of it, because overall it's a solid movie, and I wish more people would see it and talk about it and give their own critique about it. But I think the pacing, if I had to give it any kind of critique, it would be about the pacing. How about you?
Yeah, no, that's where I wanted to throw that out and see what you thought about it, because I'm right. I think I'm right there with you on that. Where there was spots that I was like get to go on, and then there was like a couple things that were thrown in that were like, I don't know, it were interesting, but maybe it was to bring in plot points. But there was like, I don't want to get into like spoiler things, but like things with the spider
Mm-hmm.
with him, and then the flashbacks he has, and maybe that was the whole purpose. So he had some of those flashbacks of, those memories of the childhood, and you got to see flashes of that. But there were like moments like that kind of drug out a little bit, where I was kind of wondering where it was going, and then I was like, okay, maybe it was just to bring that out, to have that little moment of, you're seeing a little more of a flash of what really happened as
Yeah.
kids with
Yeah.
the father.
And
And,
it's crazy how those I don't want to say, yeah, I'll say those childhood events can shape you and
mhm,
shape the rest of your life, whether you wanted to or not, because you don't see the equal um, enthusiasm for their jobs in their young versions the way you see them when they're older.
right. And so that was one thing. So like pacing, I thought maybe it was a little slow in some spots, and I'm not saying it's a bad movie. Like, I'll say overall, I enjoyed the movie.
Yeah,
So it's
same.
spoiler, but I enjoyed it. But um,
I was trying to
it,
see if I gave it something on Letterbox when I first watched it, but continue, please.
oh sure, um, I did find it interesting that I did find the dynamic between the brothers, so John C. Riley and Joaquin Phoenix, and how John C. Riley's character was growing tired of the lifestyle, and
Yeah.
was like, how long can we do this before, we're too slow and somebody gets us instead of us getting them.
Hmm.
And, uh, but then he just has this constant guilt of some things that happened in their past, where he felt like he should have been, as a bigger brother, the one that took on some certain burdens that Joaquin Phoenix's character did as a child, and feels like those set him down this path of Joaquin Phoenix. It was just kind of like, he's a firecracker. Like, he's just set to explode. He's
Yeah.
always going. He wants to make the next buck, and it doesn't matter if it's killing somebody or torturing somebody, but he's like, he was always set to go off. And John C. Riley, I think he felt that guilt from childhood, and then was feeling like he had to be the one there to kind of protect him, or like shield him a little bit from himself,
Hmm.
as he was going through whatever he was
Yeah.
doing at the
And
time.
that's what I was alluding to before about one kind of being drawn to it more than the other.
Yeah.
You could definitely see it in Charlie versus Eli.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, and that's where I don't know how far we want to go into like spoilers, or just kind of talking generally, um, about the
I'm
movie.
following your lead, brother.
Okay.
I'm
I
here
know.
with you.
Sometimes I'm kind of the bad one to follow, because I'm like this and not a straight path, but,
You
um,
had some people talking about it in the chat. So
oh, cool. Well, I can, try to hit on some of that too. I get talking and I forgot about that. So,
it's
Dell was saying
very easy.
yeah, it was very, very easy. He was pleasantly surprised by his sister's brothers. It was, and this is not a bad statement, but it was very different than what I was expecting.
Hmm.
It was different than what I was expecting. Jeff was agreeing with Dell on that. Um, he wants it in his collection now.
Mhm.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a good one. Let's see what else is hitting on. Oh, we got Huck in here saying hi.
What's
Hello,
up,
Huck.
Huckster?
Love seeing you, man. Flip through some of these.
I've been on a project at work for the last 3 months, and it's grueling. It's like from the moment you log in, and then you're like, ugh. And every time I go, and I'm like, I miss Huck's morning mug
Oh yeah, yeah.
because I'm so busy. Normally, I just put it on in the background. If I could chat, I'll pop in the chat room, whatever. But
I do that a lot because it's during my workday too. So
yeah,
there's a lot of times I'll hop in and just be like, hey, and then after that I'm
listening.
listening. Yeah,
Yeah,
but it's always fun to do that. But
we
definitely.
got love for you, Huck.
Yep, absolutely. I was saying, Corey, you're Charlie. You're the leading man. I don't know about that. I don't think I'm quite the firecracker that Joaquin
Nah,
is as
he's
Charlie.
a hothead.
Yep. Um, that's where I'm trying to figure out like where I want to go with how deep into this. But the whole reason that they're tracking down, I don't know, what is it? So is it giving away too much or going into spoiler like why they're tracking down?
You could say who they're tracking down.
So they're tracking down. I don't know. Wow, this is what
Throw
we're.
up the spoiler. Just throw
Yeah,
up the
I'll
spoiler.
throw
Who
the
wants to
spoiler
listen,
thing up.
listen.
All right.
Everyone else mute until
Yep. Sorry. What I was trying to get at is where things were trying to like. It got pretty interesting for me. Not that the rest of it wasn't, but so they're tracking down. So we're in spoilers now. If everybody's listening and not watching, we're in the spoilers of this. But basically, the two brothers, the sister brothers, they're hired to track down this chemist that has come up with a formula that you can put into the water that will basically make the gold shine. Like you don't have to dig or work for it. Yeah, it'll
yeah,
shimmer. Like it's an easy way to find it, but they find that the chemical is very harmful to people or anything. Really.
the hard way.
Yeah, absolutely. So I thought it was. I know I'm jumping way past a lot of things in this to go to this, but that that was very interesting how so there was a situation where the sister brothers, we got John C. Riley and Joaquin Phoenix, they were coming to capture, torture Riz Ahmed to get the formula and basically kill him for this Commodore so he can get rich off of it.
Yeah,
Um,
it's like
but they,
stealing the formula for Coke.
yeah, yep, yeah. And they end up becoming kind of unlikely alliance together because there's a situation where there's other people that are hunting them down to try to do the same thing basically.
Yeah,
So they come together to work together to do this, but I found the whole scene when they finally get to where they're putting this chemical into the water and they found that like they're greasing themselves up because they found out that it will burn you severely if you have it on for too long and they have to get out and wash off but the whole scene where they're in the water and they're finally getting the gold, I wanted to see what you thought about that, but that hit me quite hard, and especially with Joaquin Phoenix's character
yeah.
in that. But all right, I don't know how I want to stop talking now. I feel like I've talked too much.
No, it's a crazy scene. Um, for me, it was when I first saw it. It was like that was like the oh wow whoa. I was not expecting to see that happen. So I think it's definitely the breaking point for Eli. It's like yeah, we're done. We're done. There's no reason. And you could see that at that point, he just wants to go home. He just wants to have like the quiet life. But he has to get home. And there's still people chasing him. And you could see in his face, he's just like, oh, do I have to kill you? How many other people are behind you?
Right.
Do I really have to continue this killing spree? I just want to go home. I
Right.
want to spend time with my brother. He's not going to be the gunslinger he used to be. So, he literally cannot. So I think it was so pivotal, and it also very hard to watch the first time, because
Hmm.
if you've ever seen someone have like chemical or acid exposure, it's brutal.
Hmm.
And you see how the voice and just like the sound design in those scenes, how it affects their breathing and everything. Oh, just so
Well,
hard to watch.
and even before like the worst of it happened, I just think with everybody's like they only could take it in the water for so long before they got to get out and start washing it off with some warm,
Hmm.
clean water because they're burning. And Charlie Joaquin Phoenix, he stays in there. You can see his pain, and he starts getting frantic. But it's like he's so hungry for
Hmm.
that the
Greedy.
gold, greedy. He just could not stand the idea of having to get out and wait another day
Yeah.
to do this.
He's
And
like, it's right here in front of us
yeah,
for the
he's like,
taking.
I got to get it all now. And that was like a part where that kind of shocked me a little bit, I guess, or maybe even frustrated me a little bit, where I'm just like, just step out. You've done so much up to this point of the movie, like
Yeah.
just and look at what you got already, and walk out. But
I still remember. I think we could take down the spoilers. We'll go
okay,
back to
all
the
right,
spoiler
sorry.
stuff. Um, I still remember in one of my favorite lines in Mad Men is Don Draper is doing a presentation, and he says, "How much is enough?" And he says, "Just a little bit more."
Yeah,
And I think it's that type of mentality that Charlie has, and you see what it does to him over time. So, the greed, dare I say, the bloodlust, and it just leads to something that's probably not going to be the best for him in the end.
yeah, yeah. No, that's where that whole scene, that how that rolled out. But and that's where I'm going to say, not going too much into it either, but the ending conflicted me a little bit.
Hmm. Um. First of all, the music.
Yeah, yeah,
I like the composer.
yeah,
He's done some other stuff that I enjoyed, but it's kind of like, you ever you ever listen to like a Spotify or like a Apple Music playlist, and then you get to the end of it, and then they decide to like tack on extra songs. So it's like the whole movie has this one moving motif, and then you get to the last scenes, and there's like music that plays over it, and it's totally different than the rest of the movie.
right,
And I think it was done so on purpose. But at
yeah,
the same time, it's like, who changed the station?
yeah, yeah,
And I think it's just to represent how the movie ended. And it seems kind of abrupt if you're half looking, but it's kind of like a full completion to, and almost like a 180 to the way it started. Starting
yeah.
with dark, full daytime, violence, peace, so.
No, I could see that, and I liked it, but I think that's where I was a little conflicted of how it turned out for everybody. We'll just say that.
Yeah, yeah. I
I
I
don't
wouldn't
know.
discourage anyone from picking it up, whether it's,
Oh no, 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 not at all.
like if you just get like the standard Blu-ray like I have, or if you catch like an Arrow sale or something, maybe Barnes and Nobles have one of their upcoming, and you see it just sitting there and it's a good decent price. I would pick up the Arrow one too, because this is a movie that makes you want to get more into it. Um, whether it's for any of the things that we mentioned, the acting, getting to see actors either at the top or in rising to their potential, or just a more newer actor just getting more into feature films and everything. I think it's worth it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't want to. I hope that doesn't discourage people when I say that. When I say I was conflicted by the ending. That doesn't necessarily mean a bad thing to me, because it's making me think about things of outcomes, people's
Hmm.
actions leading up to things, and then the outcomes of those, and how it turns out for certain people. So I think that's a good thing. I mean, if I'm still thinking about it, I mean, that's a good thing.
Yeah, if a
Uh,
movie stays with you, it means a
yeah.
lot.
And I would say this is one that I look at and I'll be like, I want to watch it again. I want to watch it again, like do a second run.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
Yeah, like knowing what you know now, going back through it, and you might pick up on some things through that too along the way. But overall, very happy to watch this one. I'm glad I have it sitting on the shelf here and would recommend it. So, do you? No, I know we said we kind of grew up with kind of some similar situations with watching Western movies. You know, like Dad falling asleep and watching
Yeah, yeah.
a little bit and so. Do you find yourself going back to them very often or just once in a while? Or?
I do. Not all of them. Like, I'm not a big John Wayne fan, but I'll watch The Searchers because John
Yeah.
Ford is
Oh yeah.
like a genius. So if I do, it's more of like the, oh, everyone knows that movie or everyone has seen that. And then every once in a while I'll come across a movie and then it's like, oh, I wish that movie would get some like boutique label treatment. So like when Paramount Presents did The Man Who Shot Liberty Balance, I was tickled about that because
Oh yeah.
that's one of those movies that I love. Jimmy Stewart as a bad guy? Come on,
Yeah.
you want to see that? So, you know, um, things like that. I'll go back if it's something that I read somewhere. I do a lot of reading about directors from an auteur standpoint. So if they mention a movie, I want to see the movie at least once to see what they saw.
Yeah.
Try to get a chance for that. So yeah, I find myself going back to it, and just like anything else, it's a piece of nostalgia. It's you sitting there, you might be in front of the TV, your dad's on the couch, like you said, snoring.
Yeah.
You want to watch cartoons, but you don't dare change that channel. He'll wake up. So,
and now I know the movie now, because
mhm,
it stayed on. But
yeah,
no, absolutely. And then that's what I think fun too. Sometimes people are afraid to call some modern movies like modern westerns, but like you threw out earlier, like Hell or High Water,
yeah,
like I would say that's a modern western to me.
I agree. I agree. And Western doesn't necessarily have to be, like cowboys and horses and corral trails, and no, it doesn't have to be that. Anything, it's more of a setting. It's
Yeah.
more of a setting. And there are a lot of towns you go down to Texas, you swear you're back in the 1800s in some of those towns. Not to call them or the people backwards, but
Right.
that it's a step back in time.
Yep.
So yeah.
Yeah, but there's just some common themes like through some of the movies. So like you said, maybe there's not everybody's got a cowboy hat, not everybody's on a horse, but
Hmm.
there's some common themes of like in that one too, fighting injustice and like what lines are you willing to cross, to rob banks or whatever
Yeah.
to fix those things. But I was going to say Dell on here said with that title and the cast, I didn't know what to expect either.
Yeah. Yeah. And the thing about this is the critics love this movie. I mean, it
It's
made a lot of people's year-end best lists, and I think it was like high on Rotten Tomatoes and all that stuff from the critic standpoint, and maybe even the audience too. But I think when it came out, I would like to know what came out at the same time. I should look that up to
I
know
don't know,
why it did so poorly.
2018. I
Um,
don't even see this is one that just escaped me, and whether it just didn't have a lot of promotion behind it too, when it was
Maybe,
coming out.
but I just heard about it like in passing. But if it came out the same time as something blockbuster, it's going to be really hard to, you know, make up. But yeah, it came out in September, so that's like the beginning of award season. So it's not like it's going up against a summer blockbuster of some sort.
I don't know what times of year they came out, but I'm just pulling up a list right now, and I have Hereditary, Deadpool
Mm.
2, Upgrade, A Quiet Place, Avengers: Infinity War.
You got three bangers right
Yeah,
there: Infinity War, Deadpool, and Quiet Place.
yeah. Ready
They
Player
just
One.
ruled. And I know Hereditary, that was in the theaters ever since earlier in the summer. So,
Yeah,
people are still going, oh my gosh, that was the
equal.
time when we still had theaters that would run a movie for 3 months. That
Yeah,
wasn't long ago. Now the
amazing.
Fall Guy can't even make it to week 3.
Yeah, you can't have 3 weeks. I was going to say on a lot of the movies, and
Mm,
it's going to be like out for physical release the week after that.
yeah, can't believe 2 days ago it's already on digital.
Yeah. Oh man, there's a lot of good ones. It's kind of crazy. Not to go down the whole list, but I was like Equalizer 2. There was Into the Spider Verse,
It's a lot of
Black
competition.
Panther. There's
A lot of competition. That was a great year, by the
oh
way.
wow. Oh, one I want to see. I know this is way sidetracking, but somebody was talking about this the other day. But Under the Silver Lake. Have you ever seen that one?
I've heard of it. I have not seen it.
I haven't seen it either. I just saw it was the same year when I was
Yeah.
like flipping through these. But yeah, there was looks like there was a tough. It was stiff competition that year.
Mm-hmm.
Fallout, Mission Impossible Fallout. Yeah.
Good movie.
So yeah, it might have just hit at the wrong time with the wrong movie up against it, and but no, definitely. What I was here there was another comment here. Jeff was saying, "I dug it. Is this a typical Western?" To me, I wouldn't. I would say no.
Mm-mm.
I don't know if you agree with me or not.
No, I wouldn't say it's typical. I think the setting is, that would be typical because, I mean, it's set in 1850s. Nobody's rolling up in, like a Mustang or something, unless the Mustang was a horse.
Right. Yep.
So your mode of transportation was a horse, but you didn't have like the homestead kind of thing and feel. And that was when everybody was migrating out to the west, so you had that type of feel to it. But no, I wouldn't say, even with all the typical tropes of a Western movie, I don't think this was typical in a sense, because like you said earlier, you had equal balance between these brothers who were assassins, very similar to people who go town to town and look at wanted posters and just go after them like bounty hunters. But then you also had their tenderness
Yeah.
toward each other, recalling memories, recalling thoughts of their father, and everything with that.
John C. Riley getting all excited because they're in San Francisco and flushes a toilet for the first time in his life, and he's like, "You got to come see this. You got to,
Yeah.
like
Go
little
check
weird
this
things
out.
like that. You got to come see this. You wouldn't believe it." But so some common things of westerns, but I wouldn't say it was a typical western. I wouldn't let you turn you off from other westerns though. There's some really great ones out there. And even like we're talking about, there's some that you might not initially think of if you're not into westerns. You might not think of it as a western, but like we were talking about Hell or High Water, like that's a great movie. And I would say that's like we both, I think, agreed there that it's a modern western, but yeah, definitely.
Yeah, there's some movies, some of the ones that I mentioned tonight, like The Searchers, like
Hmm.
Red River, any of the Eastwood spaghetti westerns like Good, Bad, Ugly. What's the trilogy?
Fistful of Dollars,
Fistful of
a
Dollars.
few dollars more.
Yeah, and then some of his other stuff, like I mentioned, Two Meals with Sister Sarah.
Yeah.
Any of that stuff would be your typical western.
Yeah.
I would say you can't go wrong with any of them. But no, this is typical setting, non-typical western.
I think it went into some emotions and like of greed and I don't know, some things. It went a little deeper, I thought, into some emotions, like in not going too far, but like especially towards the end of the movie.
Yeah.
That you might not get in some typical westerns, but definitely, yeah, there's definitely a lot of them to check out. So you're talking about Clint Eastwood, even like a newer that was to me is still kind of a modern western, even though it's a throwback. But like Unforgiven, is kind
Classic.
of a. Mhm.
I have my problems with the man, but damn, that's a good movie.
It's a good movie.
I love that movie. I really do.
Him, Morgan Freeman, and Gene Hackman in that. They all
So
they
good.
all do such a great job in that.
So good.
And there's so many scenes that I can just sit and watch just the scene of like him coming into the bar we won't get into the whole thing, but I'm talking about like him coming in and be like, well, you better be armed if you're decorating your bar with my friend, kind of a thing. But anyway, great. That's a great one to check out too. I was going to say Cal is in here, Cal Daly,
So,
saying
Cal,
the Wilk and K Bizzle, saying hi to everybody. Happy Optimist. Corey, guess what? You've piqued my interest for the Jericho series. It is a great soundtrack. Okay, cool. Don't get your hopes up too much. Like I always hate like
I hate recommending like movies to people, and oh, you got to see this, and it was like, it was
and they're
okay.
like, really? You recommended
like
that?
it?
I'm like, well, I kind of liked it. Saying 310 to Yuma remake.
I like
That's
that
another
one.
great one. Original is really good too.
Mhm.
But yeah, both are really good.
Just don't watch them together. You'll
Mhm.
find yourself doing the cross critique.
Yeah, exactly. Johnny Jug, what up, sir? Saying hi. But going through here, we got John in here saying, hey, fellas, Plot X2. Thanks for
I'm
jumping
serious,
in, man.
John. Come to Kansas City, figure out where you need to go thrifting, and I'll just follow your lead.
Hey, can I come too?
He won't FaceTime me when he's out thrifting. I told him to do that once. I was like, just put me on FaceTime or whatever, and I'll just go with you. He didn't want to do that, so
I'd follow him
You
around
got to
too.
come to Kansas City and do it because that man, he found a Karate Kid trilogy box set unopened for $2. You can't hate on that, but at the same time, you're like, why not me?
Yeah, why can't that happen to me? No, he has so many great videos. I've said that so many times where I'm like, gosh, how'd you pull all this, from the thrifting? But that's an awesome feeling when you can come across something like that and be like, hey man, this is an awesome find. He's putting here, haha, I Google mapped it once. It's a long drive, my friend. That's okay. That's okay.
I've done it from like New York or New Jersey to here. It is a long drive.
So I was saying this week was a Criterion Blu-ray at Salvation for $1.
It's
Wow.
library sales. You know what I have on library sales? DVDs and like a Blu-ray that's just like a bonus features thing. And I'm like, this is paltry. It's like, ugh.
I don't find things like that around me either, but that's where I had fun going.
Somebody finds a Thin Man, not the Thin Man, the Third Man.
Yeah.
A Criterion Blu-ray, which is so out of print, it's not even funny. And they say, yeah, I only paid $2 for it. I'm like,
is there a second copy? Did you find a second copy?
I know. Was there two?
Oh, that's awesome. But so I'm still having fun, but are you still doing good? Hanging in there? Okay. Okay. No,
I'm
like
not
I said,
break the record. I thought I was going to break the record for the shortest stream on your channel, but I'm not. And that's a good thing.
I wasn't planning on it, but no, I mean, that's where
that might happen, but no, I'm having fun. I'm good.
Okay.
It's but that's where like the weekend for me. So,
perfect. Good. Perfect. No. And like I said, I'll never take any offense to it, but that's where I sometimes it's hard to shut me up and I'll just kind of keep jabbering and
I'm here with you, man.
Kind of go all over the place. Like I said, the movie we watched tonight and then the rest of the
I'm here for whatever. I'm here for whatever.
So I threw down some little questions and I said before I wasn't as nice as you are. You gave them to me ahead of time and so none of them are meant to be like stumpers or anything bad like that. So if there's one that you just don't get right away, we can skip it. We can come back to it or don't have to come back to it or anything. But I threw it down to just a couple random ones to ask you about movies and music because I know you love both of them.
And it's in your name.
Yep. And I love them both too. So some might be a little generic, but it's kind of fun to like get to know a little bit more. Sure. And some of this maybe I've heard before, but maybe not everybody else has. But would you say there's a genre of movie that you lean towards more? And I know it can change from day to day or your mood or anything like that, but do you have one you feel you kind of go back to a little bit more than another?
Every July, for the last 14 years, I want to say, I participate in a sci-fi fantasy movie challenge.
Okay.
You just watch as many as you can. And there's like a checklist, a movie with Will Smith, a movie with, Patrick Stewart, whatever it is. I really like sci-fi. It reminds me of when I was a kid and I would watch a lot of those 50s B movies because it was something that was otherworldly to me and that led me to get into comic books and all that. And say what you want about like the MCU, but if you would have told 12-year-old me reading comic books that one day these characters will be on the big screen, I would say give me as much as you want to, more, more, more. So I understand the fatigue and whatever, but these are my dreams coming true. Every time I see a Marvel or DC movie, not always done the best, but it's that. Yeah, I would go sci-fi, fantasy, and fantasy could be anything from legend to like sword and sorcery, like Conan, to like Jason and the Argonauts, to of course your Terminators and Matrix and all that.
So that's right up my wheelhouse because growing up, sci-fi and action movies were just like.
Yeah.
So I always remember we had a rental store, a VHS rental store, and after they got done with their promotional posters and they were all beat up and holes poked in them and everything, they'd roll them up and put them in a box, and you could come buy them for 50 cents, or I don't know. It was really cheap, but I'd always like rifle through those. And there was some that stayed up on my wall longer. And for whatever reason, I still remember for a long time, there was a RoboCop and a Raw Deal, Schwarzenegger Raw Deal. I don't
Yeah.
know. Both of those, I remember
With the
staying up
white
for a
shirt
little bit.
and
Yep.
like he's
And the
kind of
gun.
flexing the bicep,
Oh
while,
yeah.
like he's about to
Bust.
pump the double action.
Yep. And I was like, oh, I want to be like that, but no. So
80s was definitely more action and comedy because we
oh
had
yeah.
comedy,
Yeah.
but as kids we just kept looking for the next action movie. We knew a Sly movie was coming, we knew an Arnold movie was coming.
Yep.
Yeah, and it was just like constant. Like summertime meant every week we were at the theater seeing at least 4 or 5 movies. That the sad thing is, someone put this out a few weeks ago. It was a newspaper clipping about just the popular movies at like a multiplex or whatever, and we consider all these movies classics. And when we were kids, we were watching them like 4 or 5 movies at a time in a week, and we didn't realize that these are the movies that not only that would be important to us and nostalgia to us, but also classics.
Yeah.
The category of they don't make them like this anymore.
Exactly. No, it's fun. And it's fun when you can think back at some of those and you still enjoy watching them today. So
Mhm.
like,
I
when
think
like
that's half the collection right
I
here.
know,
Like flashbacks,
yeah.
Back to the Future is up there. The
Oh yeah.
book
Yeah.
ones. I'm just randomly looking around. Creep Show, Grease, Pulp Fiction's a lot later, but it's like half of our collections is just stuff that we want to see again because we have nostalgia for it.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And I'll defend some movies where I say nostalgia trumps quality any day. Like there's some people that are like, they see it for the first time, like today. And it was some 80 movies I saw, like an 80s movie when I saw when I was a kid. And they'll be like, what do you see in this? And I'm like, the nostalgia.
I don't expect anyone 35 or under to appreciate Star Wars, not in the least.
Yeah.
But just know for every CGI and special effect that you love today, you need to thank George Lucas, or you need to thank, some horror movie that took place in the 80s.
Yeah.
Tom Savini kind of movies, because if you didn't have that, then you don't have this now.
Absolutely.
You could poo-poo on Star Wars now, but at the time, that was a great thing.
Yeah, that was groundbreaking. Happy Optimist was saying, KB, is there a movie that you thought, yeah, this is a one and done for me?
Ooh, so many. Can't count. So many. I'll just bring up my letterbox again.
Look for some low scores. You know what's even harder? There are some movies, even I would say, so either that could fall in 2 categories. Either you didn't care for it and I'm just done with it, or man, that was a powerful movie, but I just don't know if I could go through that again. You know what I mean? Like there's some that are just like, that was good, but man, maybe it was a really hard message or a hard theme, or,
my thing is that if I get to a movie and I'm like, there's no reason for me ever to watch this again, even if it's good. Like I think of a movie like 12 Years a Slave. That's torture porn to me. There's no reason. Why am I buying that to add to my collection? Because it's a black film? No, I don't need to see that movie again. So let's see. Where do we start? Jupiter Ascending. That's one. The Meg 2, that's a recent one. 1511 Paris, that's another one. Atlas Shrugged, also down there. But like you said, there's some movies that are high rated, and I'm like, yeah, I don't need to see that again. I
Yeah.
really don't. And I have a lot more 5-star rated movies than I thought. Wow. Hmm.
That's all right. I'm trying to get better about rating my movies. I haven't
I used to do the review and the rating, and then for a while, probably like a year and a half, I only did the rating.
yeah.
Now I try to do not so much a review, but more like a diary entry,
Yeah.
because I want to remember why I was watching it, or
Oh,
who I
sure.
was watching it with, or you know, I typically in my letterbox reviews you'll see checking out the 4K, because it's like I got this on 4K, so I want to watch it in this format, which is going
Right.
to be different than watching it on my VHS or my DVD or whatever the case may be.
Right. Oh, Dell's trying to rub some stuff in here. He said paid 50 cents for his Criterion Blu-ray of 8.5.
I hope you sold it right after it went out of print. Put it towards a Fellini box set. That's your better bet.
Couldn't believe that you threw Meg out there.
The Meg 2.
Meg 2.
The Meg is fun, but they didn't need to go back to the well on that one, I think.
I have not seen the second one. I've seen the first one, but
You're good without it.
you're okay.
You're good without it.
Um
I like when a movie surprises me. Like I just think, yeah, it's fine. It's on Netflix, whatever. And then I'm like, wow, this really, really surprised me. This is so good. And then I end up telling people about it for like the next month or so.
yeah. No, that's awesome to be able to do that. Are you good with me running through a couple more of these little
Please
questions?
do.
Okay.
I'm here for it.
All right, all right. Do you have any actor or actresses currently that kind of stand out to you? And it doesn't have to be necessarily from recent movies, just maybe even things that you're just watching recently or just stand out that you're like, wow, I've started digging into them more, or I want to check them out more.
That's a good question, because everybody has their favorites. Like
Mhm.
mine is Denzel.
Yeah.
Mine is Meryl, or
And it doesn't necessarily have to be saying like, this is my top one,
yeah,
but just
yeah,
one
yeah.
that's just really kind of popping right now for you.
Oh man, it's I hate to say this because people don't want to hear it, but I really like Sydney Sweeney.
Okay. Yeah.
I do. I think she's, besides a young, talented actress, I don't think she's going to let the industry get her by on her looks. And on top of that, she's already a producer. She's already the person who's looking at scripts and, taking books and looking to get adaptation rights. That means, she has some smarts about her.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
she's
Yeah.
not looking for the big payday as an actor. She's like, no, I can produce. And production gets you, like points on a movie.
She's
So
looking at like a long run here.
yeah, she's looking at the big picture. So I respect something like that. Like, love it or hate it, Immaculate, she's the reason that movie got made, because she got the rights to it after all the back and forth and brought it to the screen. So I love seeing it. And she's already shown she could do horror, she could do comedy, do romantic dramas and stuff like that. So yeah.
Quite a range. There's quite a few I haven't seen of her. So like Immaculate, that was one I was going to ask you what you thought when you brought her
I like
name up. Oh, you liked it. I have not seen it yet, but
Yeah.
I've heard good things about it. I don't know.
I don't particularly like religious horror movies like that, but it was tame, but at the same time it was entertaining.
So not to go way down this, but have you seen The First Omen?
Mm-mm.
Okay. I'm
You're
curious
into
because
it.
those get compared a lot when I hear
And I
people
think
talking
it's
about
the
them.
time that it came out within a few weeks of each other.
And
It made for a
similar,
good double feature.
yeah. So some similar concepts
Everybody's
maybe
looking
there.
for the next Barbenheimer. So
Yeah, yeah. No, I was just curious because I saw The First Omen, but I have not seen Immaculate. So
well, you should watch one.
I
I'll watch
know.
the other, and then we can
Yeah.
talk about it.
See what we think about the two of them.
Yeah.
But no, that's interesting. No, that's cool. I'd say throw out for me. I've liked him for a long time, but I started digging into some more movies that I haven't seen. That are, some of them are foreign or like international, like subtitled movies. But Mads Mikkelsen, uh,
Yeah.
uh, I've always liked him, and I've seen him in other movies, but I've been digging into some more of his that were not U.S. releases that
Hmm.
I've kind of enjoyed. So that's one, yeah, I'll throw out for mine right now that I kind of dug in. But it's kind of funny how you kind of, they might be older movies. It might not be a hot and up and coming actor or actress like right now, but you just kind of hit this little pocket of like, you see one movie and you're like, "Oh, I want to see something else that they're in, and you kind of start going down that rabbit hole of,
Yeah.
seeing what else they've done. But um, had Jeff in here saying that he'll tag if it's been a third watch in Letterbox for his
Mm.
movies.
Yeah.
So yeah, they just have the rewatch. I think that's technically in there, but you could add a comment on there.
Hmm.
Anthony's jumping in, also agreeing with Sydney Sweeney was excellent and immaculate.
She was. She was. I really enjoyed her performance.
And Holland, no, unfortunately, I have not yet. I have it
Yeah.
sitting. I have it sitting right
Bad,
over
bad.
here, but I've heard nothing but good. Well, and I've heard it's going to be a tough watch too.
It is. That's why you heard me like,
Yep.
but yeah,
But I've
it's good.
heard it's a masterpiece. But it is it. Yeah, it's a tough watch.
Um, I
Got
will
another
add
one.
one more of his, and hopefully you've already seen this. Um, because I think it ended up winning. If it's the same person who was in it, it won the Oscar.
Oh, I'm going to correct here.
Another
Sorry not to
round.
interrupt you, but John or Jeff, that's what you were talking about. Not third watch, but if he watched it in 3D. Sorry,
Oh
you'll
yes,
tag
yes,
if it's
yes.
watching in 3D because it's a different experience. Sorry, I read that completely wrong when I was reading through that. But yeah, I could see that. Yeah.
Yeah. For another Mads movie, Another Round. That's
Yes,
that's
I
a
just
fun
recently
movie.
saw that one.
That's a fun movie. I
I
enjoyed that a lot.
That one was, yeah, that was different than I was thinking too. But yes, I did recently watch that one.
And
But there was quite a few.
who's the one in Eastern Promises? It's not him, right?
No, that's oh gosh, I'm completely blanking on his name now. No, it's not. He's in History of Violence too. Um,
Vigo.
Viggo Mortensen. Yep.
Yeah, I enjoyed that film as well.
Yep.
Nice
Yep.
kino if you could get your hands on it.
I'll have to look at that. But no, it's kind of fun to dig through some of those. And oh yeah, Holland was already helping us out, and I didn't see the chat.
Thank
Vigo.
you.
Yep. He's always good at that. He's quick draw on the answers. Have you guys seen the show Atlanta? It has Donald Glover in it. Great show. It's a dark comedy. I love how weird it gets.
Yeah.
Have you seen it?
I love Donald Glover. It's really interesting to see that two of that show's stars are now movie stars themselves. Brian Henry Tyree, who played Paperboy on the show, now he's in everything from movies with Jennifer Lawrence to, being Tangerine and Bullet Train, so he's all over the place. But then also Lakeith Stanfield came from that show, and now he's making his own movies. I haven't checked out Book of Clarence yet, but I have it here. But he's coming out of both of them coming off of Atlanta and getting like feature films is a great thing.
I'll have to check
Um,
that out. Isn't that kind of the same thing too? When you're talking about Sydney Sweeney, there's a
yeah,
bunch of them out of, is it Euphoria? Euphoria?
Euphoria. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
That she was in, but then also there's a few other ones that are in there, aren't there?
I will. Yeah, there are. I would say with Atlanta, it's you have to be into surrealism or surrealistic shows because all of a sudden, when you think things are linear and normal, then it just takes a deep or sometimes dark twist, and you're like, "What am I watching?" But it's to show you that some situations in life can't be explained by just normal circumstances. So they call it surrealism, or there was this excellent article where they're talking about it because it's a black experience type of show about it being Afro surrealism, but it's probably one of the best shows of the last 10 years for sure.
Oh, I just wrote it down. I have to see that because it's on Hulu. I think he said I
Yeah,
have that, so I'll
yeah, it
have to
was
check that
originally
out.
on FX, But yeah, it's so good.
I'll have to check that out. Happy Optimus saying, I have another question. Oh, sorry, man. I probably missed it. I fly through these, so if you wouldn't mind, if I haven't answered it yet, throw it back in the chat. And I apologize for making you do it a second time, but sometimes it's hard for me to keep up with these. So I apologize. I didn't mean to miss it, but if you throw it in there again, I'll try to catch it. I don't think I could pick Cindy Sweeney out of a lineup. Nothing personal, just hasn't made an impression on me yet. I haven't seen a lot of her stuff yet either, to be honest.
Give her time. She's just on the up and up. And I think just personally, okay, my best friend's nephew is her hairstylist.
Oh, okay, cool.
So it's like I kind of heard of her before she became a thing.
Yeah.
So
I know she's
another one from Euphoria, by the way.
Yeah.
And also the White Lotus. So
yeah, no, absolutely. It's her name's definitely getting thrown around a lot now. So
yeah,
I mean,
she's like the it girl right now.
Yeah, but if she's getting into more aspects of it, not just the acting, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Jeff was saying Donald Glover has been one of my favorites all the way back to Community. Makes good music too. Cool. Let me skip through here. We got Jimmy in here, Scottish Geek Guy, saying howdy, folks. How are we doing, sir?
Hello, hello.
Thanks for dropping in. Saying hi. Let's see here. We got going on. Don't get.
That's right. Zazie Beetz. She showed up in Deadpool 2 as Domino.
Oh, okay. And she's in the show too?
She also came from the show. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's nice to see all these people get their starts on this little show that really doesn't have a big cast. You have like 4 main returning characters, 3 of which I just mentioned went on to do feature films, Donald Glover being the 4th. And then it kind of just like spoke out into all these other roles and opportunities that they got. That's right, Del. Thank you.
Yeah. Anthony's jumping in saying, yep, absolutely, Del. Okay, I think this is the question I missed. So sorry about that, Happy Optimist. But who's the celebrity death that hit you the most? Mine would either be Heath Ledger, Brandon Lee, Lisa Marie Presley, or Taylor Hawkins. Do you have any that hit you?
The one he's named after.
Oh, Prince.
I sat at my desk and I was okay and doing what every other fan was doing, just watching the videos and listening to the music. The morning I heard the news, and then I went and I watched his performance at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. That just broke me. I'm not even afraid to say it. That just straight broke me. So I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna miss dude. For sure.
I always feel like I'm a shallow person. I have not had that connection with an artist before, where I was deeply moved. But I mean, not saying I wasn't like, I didn't think it was a bad thing. I'm not saying like being cold about it, but I like seeing that. And I almost wish I could have more of a connection. Like I still remember in our office, we had multiple people crying. I think when Michael Jackson was, like when he was announced, and
a lot of people felt that way.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, but I can see that. And it's cool that an artist can have that strong of a connection with you and have that. But
for me, it was just like what his music and everything represented, So
absolutely. Absolutely.
That was the main connection. It wasn't like, like he doesn't even like the term fan. He's like, remember fan is short for fanatic. So
yeah.
It's like, yeah, I get that, but at the same time, it's like, yeah, your music left when someone can put out once again, art, and it could have an impact on you, and you could remember things about your life and reflect back to that person or that song or whatever. Yeah, it just stays with you. So it definitely did.
So needless to say, you're a pre-order on that Purple Rain.
Believe it or not, I have not, because I was a little discouraged to like run out. And I was originally going to do the UK pre-order.
Get
the Steelbook, and then a few days later they announced that there will be a US slip, and I was still going to get the Steelbook, but then I'm like, you mean there's not one single new thing on there? No, I'm good.
So everything's stock with what you have already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
No, I can
really,
see
I'm just
that.
getting an update on format. So
Yeah.
I
I,
could wait.
I can see that. No, I
I
can see
could wait.
that. I can see that for sure. We got Joe jumping in here. Joe Martinez saying,
What's
"Hey,
up,
everyone's
Martina Drew?
good to see you, sir. Have to watch the replay from the beginning." Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate you just jumping in and saying, "Hey." We always like to see that. Saying Matthew Perry too. Yeah.
Mm,
I know some people were big followers of the show, and that
that's right.
Chris is
Zazie
also
Beats
a
was
Joker.
the neighbor in Joker.
Saying hi. Joe is also saying Prince hurt me too.
Yeah, you know. Similar age, similar time. It's more about the music than the individual, but sometimes a little bit of both hits you.
Yeah. Brian Tyree Henry is also in Joker.
Mm-hmm.
People are better with names than I am. I always have to look them up. So I'll admit I'm horrible with it. What's it? A stranger you just encountered is a friend you might just met yet, and I love it here. Oh, cool. Thanks, man. Saw Prince on the Diamonds AMD Pearls tour, and
Mm-hmm.
was one of my favorite concerts. Yeah, never got to see him in concert, but I remember there was a stretch of time when that Batman movie was coming out that we were calling in to request Prince's
That
song.
then.
Yeah, and then we'd sit there with our cassette player and sit
Yeah.
and wait for the radio to play it and hit record. I think I brought this up when we did our conversation, but then I would always get
Mhm.
discouraged because the DJ would talk way too long
Yeah,
into
and
the.
you're like, shut up, I'm trying to record.
I got to request it again.
Prince used to put on a great show. I know that I was talking to someone earlier and they were talking about a country singer, um, George Strait, and
Yeah.
it's like you're gonna see him, he's gonna stand there and he's gonna just sing. And
Yep.
it's like I'd
He
rather go
does.
see Prince. Prince
Yeah.
is gonna play different instruments. Prince is gonna dance. He's gonna jump off a speaker that's 20 feet in the air. It might hurt his hip later on, but he's gonna put on a show.
Yeah.
He's gonna give you a performance.
Yeah. Like I said, I never saw in person. I've seen clips of it, and he definitely looked like he got a workout after that show. He'd
Yeah,
be sweating.
yeah,
He was working. He was earning your money. It's like
yeah,
you
exactly.
came here and you're plopping down your hard-earned money, and I'm gonna give you everything I got for it. No, it's cool to see. All right. I know one thing I wanted to talk to you about. I've wanted to go to this before, and I only knew about it because of you posting things on social media. But talking about like a film festival, so
Yeah.
there's a certain one that I know in your neck of the woods that you've hit a couple times now,
Hmm.
and and I'm sorry if I say it wrong, but is it Panic Fest?
Correct.
Okay. I wanted to make sure I had the name right on it. So I'm curious what you think about it. I know you've gone to it twice, so you must not have like absolutely hated it, but
Mhm.
do you love it? Do you love the film festival thing? Is it too much, or like what was your experience with it?
I Here's the thing. I've been to cons. I've heard other people go to big film festivals, little film festivals, and it's always like not enough people or too many people. Like I was supposed to go to TIFF last year, and my
Oh yeah.
friends Eric and Melissa said, this is nothing like going to TIFF. TIFF is like the Oscars. It's like red carpet. You can't get close to any celebrities. In the last 2 years, I've had a drink with Barbara Crampton, and I got to hang out with Heather Langenkamp. I'm good. You know, I think the thing that I like about Panic Fest is one, it's local. Two, it gives you an experience that's different than other film festivals. Like literally the way the Screenland Armor is, you walk in and the lobby is mostly taken up by a bar where you could
Oh
order
sure.
food, popcorn, soda, but also it's a full, multi-taps, bottles, whatever you want to get to drink, cocktails, whatever. And most people just congregate to that part. There's a whole separate part with seating areas. Nobody hangs out back there. Everyone is right here in the front. So you're there, you're waiting for your movie to start, or you're just coming out for air or whatever. but there is the person who you just saw up on screen, albeit 40 years ago, but at the same time they're just there and
But it's
having a
cool.
drink or having a conversation. I went outside to see my friend Jill, and my old co-worker from a couple jobs ago, and they said, "You're not the tallest one out here." And I turned to my left, and Eduardo Sanchez, the co-director of Blair Witch Project, is standing there. And he joins in on the conversation with us and cracking jokes and stuff. And then within 5 minutes, I'm just having a one-on-one conversation with Ed
That's,
Sanchez, and we're not necessarily just talking Blair Witch. We're talking about movies, and once again, our love for movies and all that. And I'm like, this doesn't happen at other film festivals. They got them in some green room. They're backstage, all this stuff. So I like how personal it is, because people have said they come here and they feel like there's not that pressure. Like, people are not like, oh my God, you're here. I want to. They don't have that. They
yeah.
don't have people like hounding them.
Yeah.
In turn, they will turn around and say, yeah, I'll do a signing. Nobody's taking out money. I take that back. Darcy the mail girl made you pay money. But generally people like, yeah, come over here. Let's sign some stuff. Let's take some pics.
That's cool.
I'm not one to pay for an autograph. I know people that do. Shout out to you, Tim, anybody else. I love that people have an interest in that, but that's not me. I grew up in a place where it was not a big deal to walk down the street and see a celebrity. So I've never had that mentality like, they're some kind of deity, or they're up here and I'm down here. Like my daughters were just in New York, and it was like, oh my God, that was Colin Jost that just walked past us. I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
And they were like, no, but it was Colin Jost. I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
He kind of lives in New York. Saturday Night Live is filmed in New York. He's like, but Dad, don't you understand? I was like, no. Do you understand?
Do you understand?
Not a big deal.
But it's the same thing. Like these things that we have behind us back over here, that not everybody can understand why we collect those either. It's not for everybody, and,
No.
The physical movies. So yeah, that's what's cool. I mean, it's part of the love of the whole thing, and people get into, different parts of it. And definitely. Absolutely. So no, that's where that festival seems so cool. Like I'd love to check something out like that someday. And
you should come down one year.
I should do
it's
it.
really not that long of a drive.
No,
We kid, but it's like what, 3.5 hours?
it might be a little more than that for me from where
Because you
I'm
have
at.
to cut across.
Yeah, but still not, like, to me, not bad. Like, I don't know. I'd have to look it up, but it's nothing crazy. I'm used to driving long distances, so
Yeah.
it's not a big thing to me.
And the thing is, most people come for the first 3 or 4 days. Like my friends, Eric from Zombie Daddy Films,
Yeah.
and my BFF Melissa, they came down, and they came from Thursday to Sunday. And that's really when most of the party is. The festival continues for damn near another week.
Oh, sure.
This week it went all the way out to Wednesday in theater, and then the online content went until the following Sunday. But most things, it's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and most people don't make it past Saturday night party, so maybe Sunday. But that's it.
Yeah.
And if you didn't meet the people, the celebrities or whatever, there's usually a brunch on Sunday morning, like at Chicken and Pickle or whatever, so you can meet them there. It's so low key. And I hope it never blows up to the point where they have to, one, move it to another location, two, they have to kind of like red rope off people, because that would just lose the culture of being there and going to that fest.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, we're getting some flattery here. Toyologist.
What's up, Sal?
That's what I think of every single time.
Every time my wife says, I go to sleep hearing that. Because I will stay in one of Toyologist auctions to the end.
Yep.
To
He,
the
he
end.
he throws some fun whatnot auctions, and
Yes, he does.
I'll have that too, where I'll have my phone playing and I'm kind of listening to see what's being thrown up next. But
Yeah.
I'll have the same thing. My wife will hear the 10
10
seconds,
seconds.
and she like looks over. She's like, "So what are you buying now?"
Yeah, it's
She
kind of like
knows.
an indicator that you're about to spend some money.
Yep. She knows. She knows I'm out there looking to see what he's putting out there. But and I've had times where I was done buying and I just still hung out and listened to him. He's
It's
entertaining.
fun. It's
Yeah, he's
fun,
a fun
and he
guy.
keeps it entertaining for sure.
Absolutely. Dylan's jumping in. He's saying Bat Dance is one of my least favorite Prince songs. I know, but Party
The
Man and
album,
Scandalous.
Party Man and Scandalous are the fire tracks on that album. I will agree. Especially Scandalous, Sweet. It was like a separate CD with just mostly him and Kim Basinger talking to each other. Prince and Kim Basinger talking to each other, and some sexy sax man over. Good stuff. Good stuff.
Yep. No, I know. I just have that nostalgia for it. I was popular.
Yeah,
for
yeah. It was a big thing, man. 89 Batman was a movement.
Oh, absolutely. Happy Optimist was saying movies can change your life forever. It brings you joy, happiness, comfort. Most importantly, the most infinite, infectious power of cinema can bring you everything you want and feel. Long live cinema.
Got that right.
Hey, bring you. That's what's crazy when you can, and music can do it too. You can listen or watch something, and if something can drive an emotion out of you, it's doing something. Whether it's happy, sad, mad, like if it brings an emotion out of you, they're succeeding, I guess, with what they're doing.
Yep.
But going to, let's see here. We'll jump through some of these. Saying hi to Toyologist there. Yep. Love seeing him out there. Separate CD with Kim. Really?
Yep.
And what was that one? I'm missing that one. Sorry.
He thought I mentioned that there was a Scandalous. It was like a CD single. There was also a vinyl one. I'm gonna send you something in the private chat. So if you want to put it out, you can. I don't know if you allow links or not, but I'll just.
Oh, sure.
That's for Cal, because I know he likes Prince too.
So can I just copy that and put it out there?
That's the vinyl one, but there was also like a CD maxi single, blah blah blah, showing my age here.
Let's see if I can do this correctly. I don't know if it'll come through right or not. Sorry. That was a big long thing. I don't know if it actually did the link.
It looks like it did. That's just for the image. I just want him to see the image.
Oh, sorry. I must have done something wrong then.
Cal, just search for The Scandalous Sex Suite by Prince. You'll find it.
See, I'm telling you, I'm still a rookie with some of this stuff. So
it's all good, man. It's all good.
But he was also saying, I still listen to 89 Returns and Forever all the time.
Oh, yeah.
You were just doing a ranking not too long ago on Instagram, I think, on talking about some of your favorite Batman soundtracks. Thank you, K Bizzle. All right. We were talking about going to your film festival. But if you had your perfect scenario to watch a movie,
the
best theater you've been to or your best home setup, what would be your preference? Like going out to a theater or home? And best scenario in either case. So no annoying people anywhere or anything like that. Yeah.
Right. Am I limited to one movie?
No.
Because if it's not limited to one movie, I want to do it at home. And I've sat in some $50,000-$100,000 home theater systems. I have this picture that I took. I was watching Baby Driver.
Oh yeah.
Screen that was 148. It went from the floor to the ceiling, and I was literally in the car, listening to bell bottoms in that opening scene of Baby Driver. And of course, it had like 12 or 18 subs in the room.
Oh, geez.
So literally you were feeling the engine, and it was
when
like
he's revving it.
Yeah. So as he turned, the car, you felt like the sound was moving with the subwoofers. It
Oh,
was just
nice.
insane. So yeah, give me a home theater experience because while the screen might be bigger in the cinema, yeah, I'm still gonna be able to sit there and say, now what else can I watch? Can I throw something else in?
Yeah,
Can I go to scenes? Can I put on the rain scene in Blade Runner 2049? Can I watch Gravity now that it's out in Dolby Atmos? Can I watch that? So yeah, I'd be doing stuff like that.
that's exactly what I started thinking about is if you have a system like that you could just play with where you just be jumping around to scenes like,
Hmm.
oh, I'm going to watch, like you said, opening scene of Baby Driver, or,
Yeah.
like, oh, I
Lobby
want
scene
the,
of The Matrix.
yeah, lobby scene in Matrix, or walking out of the bank of Heat, or, like
Yeah.
whatever, just like,
Yes.
like there's so many that you're like, I just want to watch that scene in this whole setup. But no, that's cool. That's cool. I like that. Um, like I said, I just had some random ones when I was like running
Please
through
keep
some of
them
the stuff.
coming. I'm loving this.
Okay, good. As long as you're having fun with it.
Yeah, man.
Um, I I don't want to guess on this one, but I was just throwing out if you could, if they can be dead or alive, like it doesn't matter. Like if they're is what director, if you could sit down and have dinner with them, if you could sit down and have dinner, have a meal, and just have a conversation, anything you want to talk about, movies, cinema, their movies, somebody other person's
It's
movies.
one. Just
Oh
one
no, there's
director.
no rules. Since I just go all over the place, I'm not
Okay.
going to limit you to one then.
Because if there was just one, I was going to say Uncle Marty. I would
Okay.
love, for one, Scorsese will take me to the best Italian restaurant. I would have to lie and tell him that my wife's better, that kind of thing. Um, but if I could have multiple, it would be him. It would be Spike Lee. Um, it would be Guillermo del Toro. I would love to pick his brain
Yeah.
because if you never realize there's a common theme in his movies, it shows that we as people are the true monsters, not the fabrications that we make up for characters. So, the thing under your bed is not as scary as, that father that abuses you down the hallway, stuff like that. I would love to, and he plays with horror like it's just like a plaything. I love that about him. I'll give one more.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Go for it.
Scorsese, Spike, Del Toro, ooh, and Catherine Bigelow,
Okay. Cool. Yeah.
because it's always interesting to have one genius in the house, but she was married to James Cameron. So to break out from that and have your own style and make some real kick-ass movies and all like that, yeah, yeah, and just to get some female energy in the room too. So definitely.
No, that is cool. Because there was just recently, I had watched Near Dark. I had never seen that before.
If anybody has, please,
For
I
Biggle
need
and
that in my
Catherine Bigelow.
collection. I need Near Dark in my collection. We're not getting a 4K anytime soon, so please,
That's
Blu-ray,
what
holler at your boy.
that's what I started looking for one after I watched that, and
Were you
so that was kind
pleasantly
of,
surprised?
yeah. No, I had fun with Bill Paxton. He's fun as always.
No, I mean looking at how much it costs to get.
Oh yes, yeah. No, that's where I was like, that's why I don't have it right now.
Yep, yep.
Yep. And I started looking at foreign releases of it, and but yeah, no, I didn't. So when I first watched it, it was on recommendation, and I didn't put it together that she was the director of it. And then when I saw that, I was like, oh wow, it just kind of blew my mind a little bit. I was like, I didn't know she was directing that far back, and then like that different of movie from some of them I was familiar
Yeah.
of hers. But yeah, no, that was a fun one for sure. Uh, Holland's giving me a hard time. Mine would be Tommy Wiseau to have dinner with. The Room. Yeah, maybe not, but I do have his autograph now.
There you
I
go.
bought the movie because it was recommended to me. So when you buy it from his website, he usually signs something and sends it along with it. But Happy Optimist was saying underrated film director. KB, who's your pick? He feels underrated.
Because I recently seen Dumb Money, I'll say Craig Gillespie.
I still want
Um,
to see that. Man.
Cruella, the Fright Night remake. eh. But I think also did the Pam and Tommy thing that was on Hulu. I think
Oh, that
given
was fun
more
too.
opportunities, you'll get to see that he's very, very talented. So Craig Gillespie.
Not to just like piggyback off of that, then, but do you have so that was for a director underrated? Do you have any movies that you really enjoy that you wish got more love that more people would see? And if not, that's okay too. Like I know I'm putting you on the spot on all
No,
these.
I always go back to Attack the Block. I'm surprised by how many people have never seen Attack the Block or never heard of it. And they're like, who's in it? I said John Boyega before he was in Star Wars. And they're like, really? I was like, yes, you need to see it.
I have not seen it, so I just wrote it down.
See? You're another one. There you
Another
go.
one.
Attack the Block. Get the Blu-ray.
Add me to the list. I just wrote it down. So no, it's always interesting to see. That's why I love doing these though too, because there's so many times that there's so many movies that somebody could be like, how could you never heard of that before? But there's just like so many flying around, and it's easy to
Oh yeah.
miss stuff.
Especially now, it seems like because it's so easy to pick up a camera and do something, there's so many that go under the radar. Maybe one feature film, and then everything else was shorts or something like that. So there's a lot of them out there like that.
Yeah, no, very cool. Um, oh, he's going to the other extreme now. Overrated director. If you have one, maybe you don't. I don't know.
There's a few out there I won't say.
Okay, we'll be nice. Joe was saying Jennifer Kent and Argento would be mine.
Jennifer Kent for sure. What's
Ryan
up,
S.
man?
Saying hi, KB and Corey in chat. Thank you for dropping in. Sorry, KB, haven't seen it still. Yeah, it's all right. There's
There
a
you
lot of
go.
movies out there.
One
So
reason.
we've been mixing movies and music here. So to have them kind of combine, do you have any soundtracks? And it doesn't have to be one, but any music soundtracks that just really jump out at you that are like even standalone? You think it's a great a listen?
Well, if I don't say Purple Rain,
I was gonna
somebody's
say
gonna come for me. So I'll
that's
put
why I
that
say you
out
can say
there.
more than one even.
Yeah.
So
I was
Purple Rain
thinking
for
about it
sure.
the other day, and I went back to it. Jurassic Park is up there.
Oh yeah.
A lot of the early blaxploitation movies, they had excellent soundtracks. And I also mentioned this in the past, but the late 80s, early 90s series of comedies and urban comedies, it got to the point where the soundtrack was better than the movies.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like, hey, listen to the new Boys to Men from the soundtrack of blah, blah, blah. And it was like, that's the only way you would initially hear it until they had like a greatest hits or whatever. But yeah.
Oh,
Dell.
which one? Dell.
Dell.
I was gonna say I was about ready to highlight that, but I just
Dell.
didn't know if that was the one you were seeing.
Outside of the Before trilogy, I will agree with you. I'm not a fan of Boyhood. I'm not a fan of a lot of his stuff, even Slacker. And between Spike Lee and Slacker, we have those two things to be responsible for Kevin Smith's film career. But yeah, not typically a Linklater. I don't know what he did with the Before trilogy, but that was like lightning in a bottle to me.
He definitely
Everything
got
else,
it there.
I'm like,
Yeah,
eh.
I can see that. Jane Doe was saying the Big Chill soundtrack is the one for her.
Oh yeah, but that's needle drops as we call them.
Yeah.
It's like any movie that is made up of like popular or known stuff. Yeah, it's gonna get my attention.
Definitely.
Yeah, just to go back to Linklater.
Oh yeah.
School of Rock. I still don't give him credit for that, but he did that too. Dazed and Confused. That was more. That was. I wouldn't say that was his directing as much as it was his writing. His writing was better than his directing, but like Boyhood, Scanner Darkly could have been better, especially with the technology they're using it. Yeah, a lot of the other stuff, no, not a fan.
I can see that. Happy Optimus was saying the Crow soundtrack for him. So,
Mm-hmm.
yep, I remember a big one. I remember grabbing the cassette of that when it came out. Love the Hard to Hold soundtrack.
Yes.
Oh, that's
Springfield, Rick
yes,
Springfield.
yes, yes, yes.
Yeah.
I do remember that. That's a
Dr.
good
Drake
one.
back in General Hospital days.
Yeah, absolutely. Deep cut, but Last American Virgin has better music than acting.
Yeah, I could see that. And then you have movies that, along the Big Chill lines where the music is just as crucial as what's going on the screen, like American Graffiti. I know a lot of people picked up that Steelbook when Best Buy was closing.
Oh
That's
yeah,
one, and anything nostalgic like that, La Bamba, Stand By Me, where it calls back to another era and the music kind of guides you.
yeah. No, definitely. Very cool. Now this is kind of like a twist on the movie thing, but for music, uh, just to boil it down, are you best case scenario either way, headphones or speakers?
Oh,
If you're listening,
speakers.
speakers.
I was just telling my wife today. I was listening to a song. I was shaving, and I was listening to a song. And I don't care what phone you have. The speakers are small and tinny compared to listening on headphones or if you got AirPods, whatever.
Yeah,
Then listening to an environment where you have like a subwoofer and
yeah,
multiple speakers around you. So I was listening to the song, and then I was like, I'm gonna replay this when I get in the car because I need to hear this the right way.
yeah, yeah,
I need to me sound is atmospheric. So the more speakers, the more can it enrapture me, not just like
yeah,
block out the world. I want to feel the bass. I want to feel like the instruments around me. Like if I'm standing in the middle of a recording studio, that's how I like music to hit me. And honestly, the last album that hit me like that from beginning to end was that her first album? There was a Lizzo album that was done in Dolby Atmos because Dolby does music too.
right.
And
Yep.
and I think that album was done in Dolby Atmos, and that's an album that if you have really good speakers, you can listen to from beginning to end. Cause I Love You, yes. So I think that was her second album, third, maybe. I don't know. Third, yes, because I Love You. Um, but that's a great album to listen to in Dolby Music, Dolby Atmos music, as they call it.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's a great surrounding album.
Oh, very cool. Yeah, no, I find it interesting because this kind of goes along with the question of like theater or home, it's just like
Mhm.
what, just personal preferences. And it's like, there's not right or wrong, but just certain ways that people prefer to hit things. And,
Yeah,
no, that's cool. No, very cool. But I agree. There's some awesome headphones, but there is something different when you can feel some of the bass and they
mhm.
might have some great bass in the headphones, but it just can't reproduce.
I'm not going to feel it here
Yeah,
if
right.
it's
Yep.
up here.
Nope. I definitely could see that. Happy Optimist was saying he's 50-50 on it if you ask him. So I could see that. Dell was saying he grew up on Last American Virgin, must have seen it 30 times in the 80s.
Same.
Joe was saying the same as two. Toyologist was, it moved on me there. Got to feel the vibes. Yep. Feel that bass.
Feel it, feel it.
Yep. Uh, Happy Optimist was saying, what album has no skips for you, KB?
Ooh, there's a few. Mary J. Blige, My Life. Because Mary J is never as good as when she's sad and in pain. That it's like a blues singer. You don't want to hear a blues singer talk about being happy. Or
Right.
some country western singers too. You don't want them to put out a happy album. Uh, I'll give you a modern example. Casey Musgraves.
Yeah.
Do you listen to her?
Yeah, I've heard some of her stuff. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. When Casey is happy, the music is not good. Sadly, when Casey's in pain, when Casey's going through stuff, she puts out some great material. So
Yeah.
yeah,
You got some people just chiming in on some of your picks there. So saying, ooh, good pull, KB, and great album, KB. So definitely got some people joining in with you on those. But
you.
no, it's very cool. Yeah. Um, Now, when you've attended, we were talking about Panic Fest with the
Hmm.
movie festival. Have you ever attended any music festivals, or get into those at all, or like even just live concerts? Or
Concerts more than festivals.
yeah,
I don't know, something about being all day around, like whether it's heat or some kind of other inclement weather. I can't do it. But yeah, I've been to a lot of different concerts. Like I think Joe mentioned going to the Diamonds and Pearls. I've seen Prince multiple times. Um, Different artists, different genres. I'm trying to think of a memorable. A lot of them are memorable, but I used to go to more to concerts than anything else.
yeah, I'm kind of with you. I don't know. The festivals sound cool with how many people you can see, but I just don't know if it's for me. Really haven't done those where it's like all day, every day for like,
Hmm.
2 or 3 days in a row. Seems like it's always at a time of year at that place that it's just like blazing hot.
Yeah,
and so I've never really done those, but
and now I'm too old for that stuff. So
yeah, I kind of feel like
or
that way
whatever
too.
Danny Glover said in that movie.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Exactly. And then if you look back at that, I always hear jokes about that. If you look back at what age he says he is in that movie,
No,
he's
oh
like
my
young. He's
god,
younger than us.
oh my gosh.
Like literally, I think that's the
They
case.
did the same thing with Happy Days. They were like Tom Bosley was 42 in this. I was like, no.
And when they're talking like I'm too old for this stuff, and they're like
Yeah, they
41 or
got like
42,
the receding
yeah,
hairlines and balding and all that. I'm like,
it's like come on, man, I
they
got to
got some
be for
modern
like quite a few
medicine,
years
man.
at this point.
Ooh, yeah.
But no, it's kind of funny to look back at that. We had a couple others like jumping in here. What we got here? Joss Stone is all soul. Love her entire playlist.
Yeah, her first album is solid. Really, really good. Nika Costa's first album, that's another one I could listen to from beginning to end.
That's
There's a
good. I
few
love.
people. I'm all over the place. You
That's
heard what I
good.
grew up on, so
Yeah.
it's like it opened up like lanes and avenues for me. So it's like even if I don't listen like every day, if you said you're saying all this music, but what do you listen to every day? Like you gotta like nail it down.
Hmm.
I'm a hip hop head,
Yeah. Yeah.
Yankees fitted, all that.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
like that's my daily in out. That's what I'm listening to. Ignorant stuff that I have to protect my children from when they until they were old enough. And then it's like now it's like, wait a minute, what is that? Who is that? Dad is it's a Lil Uzi Vert song. Oh, okay, okay. I gotta get up on that. I gotta get up on that. So, now it's like the transition to them teaching me stuff or, what album is that from? Oh, okay, okay.
But that's
But
good. Stay open to it.
yeah, but given the time, I'm all over the place. My Spotify and Apple Music algorithm thinks I'm like a manic depressive.
How many people do you have using this account? Or somebody doesn't
Exactly.
think it's one
It's
person.
like, is this one person?
Yeah.
Like,
You
yeah,
must be sharing this with other people.
yeah. No, it's just me. Just
Yeah.
me.
Just
Check the IP. It's all me. It's
that's
all
just
from the
what I
same
want.
address.
No, I'm with you, man. It's fun to not box yourself into one thing. Yeah, you'll always have something you might lean towards,
Hmm.
like for your comfort music or whatever you go back to. But it's nice to not it's stay open. I mean, there's so many things that if you're willing to check it out, you might find your next favorite, artist out there that maybe wasn't what you would have thought of listening to or watching,
Hmm.
but might really I don't know, pique your interest a little bit. Joe was saying he did Woodstock 94 and 99 and still alive.
God
LOL.
bless you. God bless
strong,
you.
strong person there.
Yep. Better you than me.
Yeah. I've seen some of the documentaries on some of those things, but they was saying the other day, Apple Music named the Miseducation of Lauryn Hill as the greatest album of all time. Thoughts?
I just want to know what the name of the strain they were on when they were smoking that because I love the album. I love El Boogie. Everything. It's a great album. It won all the Grammys. So if they want to talk about cultural impact, all that, but I don't know. There's this lovely album called Thriller that's been number one for like decades. And
Forever.
there's this other one, Sergeant Pepper's something something by these Beatles guys. I don't try to be nuanced about it and say, why don't we put Lauryn Hill at number one? The kids will love that. No, no, no,
I think it's hard to
no.
name any. It's hard to say any like number one of all time,
It is.
because you
It is.
can have argument. Like you just said, you threw out some heavy hitters right there, just a couple of them. You probably could name a few more that you could go down and people could make arguments about. Um, so you can like say that without denying that it's a great album, but like at the
Mhm.
same time, like greatest of all time.
Yeah.
Hey,
I think
but
they just
somebody's
did
book
that to
it
get
probably is.
a conversation started
Yeah,
with, if they just did one of those other albums that it's like a cookie cutter answer,
yeah.
they wouldn't be all over people's news feeds talking about,
Get
did
the
you
clicks.
hear what yeah. Yeah. And it gets people saying, well, what did they have for the rest of the top five or the top 10 or whatever?
Yeah,
So it's driving traffic. And unfortunately, and this kind of leans into what we're doing here, but everything is content. Everything is content these days. You come up with a list, that's content. You put out a TV show, that's content. So it's all about driving revenue from content.
yeah.
What's lost in that is the creativity and the importance of things. You can't tell me the criteria that you use to put that song at or that album at number one, and then you can't have a counter argument to it. If you're talking about awards, you know, Michael Jackson won more. If you're talking about cultural impact, you know, like I said, Sergeant Pepper. You could even go to Folsom Blues. There's
Oh
so
yeah.
many different ways you could go. Don't You just want clicks. And unfortunately, for everyone who says, was it good or did it suck? That's you like trying to get clicks.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I get it. I get it.
Yeah. No, it's
I want to
interesting.
know what Dell thought
Oh
because
yeah, Dell, you have to throw in
his
there. Do you
his,
agree or
his
not?
opinion is highly, highly sought after.
Dell, if you're in here, you have to throw in there if you agreed with that or not. So
Yeah.
he was agreeing that he loves Joss Stone as well.
Yeah.
If I
She's
could
a
talk.
vocal lady for sure.
I was just saying I need KB playlist for a show.
Hit me up, man. Hit me up. Hit me up on IG. We need to talk anyway. I dare I say I need more movies. I'm
I
running
know.
out of room and I'm still like, what you got, Sal?
Yeah, it's always kind of bad when they recognize your name when you come back in. You know.
No, Sal knows me. I show up. He's like, KB loves.
You
I was
know,
like, what's up, brother?
that's how I found him was through you too. So it's definitely.
That's the dude right there.
Yeah, he's funny. Even if you're not buying anything, it's fun to listen to him do
Yeah.
shows. Happy Optimism saying, and Prince and the Revolution is number 4.
That's to tell you, I didn't even look at the list, so I couldn't tell you what's number one, what's number 8, anything like that. I'm gonna look now while we're chatting.
Yeah. I'll run through some of these while you're looking that up. But Dell was saying my kids recommend me music all the time and then wait for my opinion to see if I'm being an old man that day.
They know you're gonna be an old man. That's what they're waiting on. They're waiting to chastise you about it.
Yep. I don't let them watch me while I listen to it because I have such a bad poker face, like I give too much away.
All right. So Lauryn Hill 1, Thriller 2. They gave it to Abbey Road 3. Purple Rain 4. Can't be mad at that. Okay. If you want to be nouveau about it and put an album, I cannot argue against Blonde by Frank Ocean because somebody put it earlier in a post. Every time Pink and White comes on, I stop what I'm doing and I just listen to that song. It's so beautiful. It's so powerful. The man had Beyonce on the track and all she did was sing background vocals. That's power.
That's saying something.
Songs in the Key of Life, number 6, Stevie Wonder. Yes. I will fight people on this. Good Kid, Mad City is the Kendrick album, not Damn, Not Pimp a Butterfly, Good Kid, Mad City. That's Back to Black, Amy Winehouse, Nevermind, of course, and then Lemonade. Okay, so that's your top 10, and right outside of that is Rumors. That's another cookie cutter answer.
Yeah,
So
yeah. I'd be
yeah,
interested to go back, and it'd be kind of fun to just go back and listen through those albums and then
I
kind of
do it
pick
every
out.
once in a while. Like
Yeah.
when Rolling Stone brings out their list,
Yeah.
I'll go and I'll say, what haven't I listened to before? What haven't I listened to in a long time? And then I find myself going back to like It Takes a Nation by Public Enemy,
Oh yeah.
or you know, OK Computer, since it's on my screen behind me, Radiohead.
Radiohead. Yep.
I'll go back and just re-listen to it, because some of those albums you remember when you first heard it, you remember where you were when you first heard it, and it almost becomes like a nostalgic point. Like I went through the Dave Grohl his book.
Oh yeah.
What was the name of it?
Um.
Playmaker, whatever it is.
Yeah. I'm blanking.
Songmaker. That's
Yeah.
what it was. And I just kept stopping to listen to whatever music he was talking about. So if he was talking about early Nirvana, I stopped and listened to it. If he was talking about hanging out with Lemmy, I went back and listened to Ace of Spades by Motorhead. It just brought more fullness to the book. And you know, he told a story about when they first performed on Saturday Night Live, and he was so nervous he like broke his stick on the intro to like Teen Spirit, so he's like, and the stick went flying.
Yeah.
Because it broke. So yeah.
Oh, that's cool no, it's fun to do that. Like, but then they get you, I love doing things like that too, because even though I like to listen to all kinds of different things too, it seems like sometimes I fall into a rut sometimes, where it's just kind of like I go back to the old reliable, and kind of keep on
Yeah,
going back. So it's fun to have
it does
something like
something
that.
for you.
What's that?
It does something for you
Oh
as an
yeah.
individual.
Yeah.
There's a familiarity.
But then it's kind of nice to have something like that triggers you to be like, even if you heard it before, you're like, oh, I hadn't listened to that for a long time. And you go back and, go back and through and listen to it. So no, absolutely.
Hmm.
Love that. Yeah, I completely agree. I think that's what we were saying there. Too many variables for a one all-time greatest.
True.
Yeah, I could see that, because you could have so many arguments, really, really good ones. I'm an old man music-wise now too. Almost everything I listen to is prior to 2015.
As long as you enjoy it.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. There are so many great albums, but Linkin Park Hybrid Theory
Yes.
is one up there for you.
Yes. And
Definitely.
Reanimation too.
Yeah. And
oh, good album.
Yep. Throwing out some good ones. Now I got like movies and some music I'm going to go back.
That's what your channel's all about, right?
Yeah. I got to go listen to some more things or revisit. Patrick is in here saying hi. Meow.
What's up, Patrick? Always good to see you.
Absolutely. Joe with the goods. Don't worry, KB. We all love buying from Toy. Yeah.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
We have ran into each other out there multiple times. So it's kind of funny doing that. But Brian was saying, I think I would have Rumors high.
Yeah. The problem with that is you need to leave room for newer albums. I agree, Prince. Rumors at 11. I would even might have switched it between 10 and 11. But I think you need to have room to say, hey, there's new music that become like instant classics. Like if you think about it, Amy Winehouse, Kendrick, and Frank Ocean are 3 of the top 10, and they're newer than, say, and Lemonade are newer than Rumors. So it's like saying it still have room for a modern day album being a classic.
Yeah, I can see that. Jumped on me. I don't know if you want to get into this or not. I don't know much about it at all, but it was
Great Cloth. Continue.
Yeah, okay. Yep. Miseducation is a personal top 5 for me, but objectively speaking, I'd probably go with Thriller #1, A Global Impact.
There's a great Showtime documentary called Thriller at 40.
Yes.
Oh my God. I watched it. I told people about it. I watched it with each member of my household, and then when my daughter came home, I watched it with her because she's the biggest Michael Jackson fan out of all of us in the family. And so, yeah, I've seen it like 4 or 5 times
That's
already.
a great documentary.
It really is.
No, absolutely. I really enjoyed watching that one. Just growing up with it too, and seeing how. I mean, that was. I remember it coming out and being a big thing, and then and even like how culturally, like
You
you could
forget
have a
things
hol.
too.
What's that?
You forget things that
Oh,
happen
absolutely.
surrounding that album.
Well, and there's a lot of behind the scene things that it comes out with on there too that I had no idea about. But that album was just so huge, and just because I even remember like you couldn't have a Halloween party without having Thriller going on. Like we'd watch the
Pretty much.
in that video, and we were talking about how that he pushed music videos way beyond what they were. I mean, like getting directors and like making short films out of
Hmm.
like
He
for
didn't even
Thriller.
call them music videos. That's what he called them, short films.
Yeah, they were. They were.
Yeah.
Or are. But no, very cool.
Throw out the next one by Dell because I wanna clarify something for him.
That one.
He says to pimp a butterfly over a good kid. I will agree, but I will agree in the same way we say off the wall over Thriller. Thriller critically and universal appeal is a better album, but if we go back to okay, which is our better album? Butterfly over Good Kid, Off the Wall over Thriller. That sense I'll agree with you. And if you don't know what we're talking about, you have 2 albums to go listen to.
Exactly. Exactly. More
Get
recommendations.
to know King Kendrick.
No, very good. Happy Optimist was throwing out Rage Against the Machine. Self-title was a good one for him. So
Good one. Any of the 3 Rage albums that came out in those years, like back to back to back, all good.
yeah. Got Three Geeks podcasting here saying, hey, what's up? How are
Hello,
we doing
hello.
today? We're doing good. We're doing good. Thanks for dropping in here. Just kind of hanging out. We're in the free fall of the live stream, just kind of going through some things and seeing. Are you still hanging in there, Dell? Or KB? Sorry, we were just talking about
Me?
Dell. Talking
Yeah,
about,
yeah.
Okay.
I'm still good, man.
I'm just running down. Okay, so we're big into. You got all your movies behind you, physical media, and it doesn't mean you hate streaming or anything like that. But when we're talking about music,
I need both.
do you fall one way or the other with music, physical or streaming more for music wise?
When I was younger, of course, there were, before streaming, everything was physical. So I went from vinyl collection to CD collection. Cassette tapes in the cars became, burn CDs in the car. Yeah, these days, because it's like just the convenience of just saying, oh, I feel like a 90s R&B mode today. Shout out to Cody, dude who loves movies. Yeah, I'll just like randomly pull something up. Oh, I have playlists. We have this thing when we go on car trips. When the kids were younger, we started. It's like, we're your parents, and we demand that you know 80s music. You need to know old school hip hop. You need to know pop music. You need to know metal bands. It's all here for the taking. And then games like Guitar Hero and all that came out. So then that just took it to another level.
Right.
But we listened to nothing but 80s music on the road. So you could go from, whoa, we're halfway there to I'm the king of rock. There is none higher. But it's all within the 80s. And now they all know it. They know it like the back of their hand. So I still have an affection for physical media, but it's so dangerous to get into vinyl. If Joe is still in the house, please tell him how much you drop on just vinyl albums alone between you and Marie, because I couldn't do it. I couldn't maintain this and also get into like vinyl, because it's the same thing. The same way we argue over slips versus steel books, people argue over 180 gram to pressings. Like
Yeah.
I got a first pressing of Abbey Road.
Yeah.
Whoa,
Yeah.
you know.
Or is it like a single like sleeve, or is it a nice
Mhm.
gatefold with like liner
Right. I
notes?
got the record store day exclusives
Yeah,
with the
yeah,
different album cover
yeah. They got
and
the
yeah,
different
the gatefolds and all that. So
the
yeah, it's
wax,
the same
the
way.
different splatter, and all the effects that they do with that.
Sal
And
Sal keeps trying to get me to start my vinyl collection.
it's dangerous. I think
It
he
is.
noticed me post something one time on not too long ago with a record, and he's like, "What? You need to come hang out if you like vinyl." And I'm like, "I
Yeah,
actually bought I have bought one album from him, but most of the time it's been movies so far." But that's
yeah.
what's dangerous. I have some vinyl, but yeah, it's a little pricier sometimes going down that one. But
I remember Plot X2 if he's still in here. I remember when he started to like find things thrift, and his original thing is I'm not going to spend more than $1 on an album. So he got things like the Nat King Cole Christmas album
yeah,
and this and that. And I watched it, and I wasn't trying to be pessimistic, but I said to myself, I give him time. And now he gets Amazon gift card. He's looking at what he could get on a vinyl album. So it
yeah,
happens. It happens to all of us.
yep. It's fun to look at, but
See,
yeah,
look in
it's
the chat,
pricey.
man. Sal is trying to taunt me by saying he's going to send me a freebie album
Oh, maybe I missed
to get
that
me
one.
back into vinyl.
Oh, that was Three Geeks right there. Oh gosh, I'm all messed up on my.
It's all good. It
Oh,
should be
there we
right at
go.
the
There we
bottom.
go. There we got it.
See, he's evil, man.
The first one's free, and then you'll come back.
Yeah,
And buy.
it literally is like a drug. It's like the first one is free.
Yep. I have to hit Dell. I think had a little retort to your.
Mm.
And I don't know if you saw that one or not, but
Actually, it was Damn that got him the Pulitzer.
oh
But yeah, I really think it was a makeup for the combination of Good Kid and Butterfly. But I think out of the three, Damn was the least deserving. Butterfly and Good Kid really, if you're gonna give a rapper like that a prize for lyricism and impact, cultural impact, and all that, To Pimp a Butterfly or Good Kid, Mad City, either one of those albums were much more qualified than Damn. But it's kind of like, you know, they gave Scorsese the Oscar for Departed.
yeah,
It was a
yeah,
makeup award.
yeah,
We see a lot of those without really realizing. But yeah, mostly streaming. But
yeah.
there's nothing like putting on a vinyl on like a Sunday morning or something like that, and just getting into like the sound and everything of it. It hits different.
Well, a vinyl record or a CD, even throwing that in there, and
Mm-hmm.
a lot of the times I listen to the whole album. I'm not skipping around, you know, like especially
Yeah.
vinyl, you're not skipping around, but CD, I guess you could. But you know, a lot of those, it seems like if I put those in, I'm listening to that album. I'm not like listening to track 3 and then going to somebody else and listening
Right.
to track 6 and like,
Or picking one from each one.
yep,
So
yep, yep. Three Geeks podcast was saying I really only listen to hip hop, just love the sound and feel. Other stuff trickles in, but that's where my heart is. I
I
want to
get
collect, and I think as we were just talking about right here too, I want to collect vinyl, but I have enough problems with Blu-ray and
you and I
4Ks.
both.
A lot of us in here right now, and that's
See?
where more of your come over, KB. I
We'll talk,
got you.
Sal. We'll talk. I got like a stand that fits vinyl albums in it perfectly with, I don't know, 16 cubes. So your job is to fill up 16 cubes worth of vinyl.
I think he's
If I'm gonna
willing
go
to
big.
accept that
I
challenge.
think so. I think so.
Jeff was saying wax is pricey. It's like a nice piece of cake. Yeah.
It's true. But you know what? These ain't cheap either.
No.
We find ways.
Yep. Absolutely.
Look at
Brian
me
was
with
saying,
the smudge marks on my slip cover.
"Oh gosh, I always see those on mine, or the glossy steel books,
Mhm.
fingerprint magnets."
Yeah.
But Brian was saying car trips with kids was a lot more fun than car trips with my parents. LOL. So your kids had more fun than he did with his parents.
I just would hate to be a kid in a car with your parents who didn't invest in having some fun. And we would set up like little house rules too. It would be like 3 skips. I don't care how long it is. We got what, 14-hour trip, 3 skips. So if a song comes on and you don't like that song and you're like, ooh, I only got one skip left. All right, I'll just grin and bear it. But you got 3 skips in and you hear Sister Christian come on, you're like, skip. Or your sister is gonna sing along to it and annoy the hell out of you. Skip.
I always remember one really young road trip I had. It was just my dad and me, and really long trip, and we didn't have a lot of cassettes, and he only had. It was a long trip, and it was through some rural areas where you couldn't get the radio stations. This was long 80s. This was a long time ago. He only had 2 tapes, and it was hours and hours and hours in this car. He had Air Supply Greatest Hits and Kenny Rogers Gambler.
That's a good album, though.
But I
maybe
could
not after the 17th time you hear it.
That was all you had. And there was like long stretches that you could not get anything in. And
they're singing All Out of Love. You're like, I'm all out of patience.
Air Supply, I had to get that one out of there pretty quickly. But no, it was, nowadays, I think it's just taken for granted. Like you have every album in the world at your fingertips pretty much with the streaming.
And the funny thing is, and maybe this is because of my background, I would still quicker listen to like a DJ set that was like recorded on a YouTube or a SoundCloud or something like that than I would, to a playlist, because I'm going to hear something in a different way, or I'm going to experience a remix or something of something popular, like the Junior Senior song that they're using in every commercial, like the Gatorade commercial and the Nicki Minaj song and all that. I've heard remixes of that it just brings a new experience to a song. So I like things like that.
So that's cool.
It's like a reimagining.
Yeah, absolutely. It's kind of funny. Trini just dropped and said, y'all still going?
Salute, my dude.
We're still hanging in there, at least for a little bit.
Fun, man.
Oh, good. As long as you're having fun. I mean, like I said,
what were we talking about? Oh, Sisters Brothers. Yeah, we did that already.
Yeah. For about 15 minutes out of the 3 hours.
Oh, good.
Hey, it's okay. It's no rules, right? You just
it's
get
like
on
a
here.
reason to get you here, and then when you hear it, just fun, so.
No, that's absolutely what I use it for sure. Where we got here? Brian was saying, I've decided to not pursue vinyl. I'll stick to CDs and streaming. Yeah. You save some money doing that.
Probably a smart thing to do.
Yeah. Sal loves to tease us. Yep.
Sal's the best, man. If y'all don't know about Toyologist, get on Whatnot, look up and follow him and get your notifications, because if you get in there early enough, he'll start the show with a giveaway, and you basically
he does giveaways all the time.
Yeah. You have 10 seconds basically. And if somebody outbids you, it resets to 10 seconds, unless it's like a weird sudden death day. But I could tell you, and I want to thank him. I want to thank Alster. I want to thank Wes and Jen from Twice Love 22. My budget for 2023 pales in comparison to what it was in 2022 and 2021. And that's mostly because all these studio things y'all run out and buy in day one, and it's like $25-$30. I'm not even paying a third of that at sometimes, and getting it at the same time you are. So
yeah.
If you want to come and have fun and hang out, and he's a character. So
absolutely. Like I said, there's a couple nights where I'll buy a couple titles and I'm like, I'm probably good for tonight, but I'll keep it going while I'm doing some other stuff, listening. Yeah.
What's the best pickup you've gotten, like price wise?
Oh gosh, I don't know. There's been a lot. I mean, that's where there's some nights where I get like, I can't believe literally there's some that like Blu-rays, and I don't know if I have any right around here, but I mean, it'll just be like, I got that for $2. There's some crazy ones sometimes where I'm like,
it's true.
And some will drive way up, because I'll be like, and understandably, it's like, oh, that's a sealed steel book of,
something new, whatever.
And I'm like, okay, I can see that where it went there. But no, there's a reason why I bookmark his thing and I keep going back. Because if I'll go out there and I don't know. I've got quite a few. What did I have? Oh, I can't remember what I paid, but it was a lot cheaper than what it was brand new. But this was, I got a little bag right now, but this was a steel book I got from him not too awful long ago. But
There
yeah,
you
it's a
go.
Hacksaw Ridge steel book.
Yeah.
And he's cool too about it's there's some other shops too that you can tell that when they're collectors where he's like pointing out like this one it was new, but the shrink wrap had a tear in it, and he's
Hmm.
like, hey, just so you guys know, there's a tear in the shrink wrap, or
Yeah.
he points out stuff, and as long as you're good, like bid on it. But that's where it's cool, where he's way up front on any condition that might not be completely brand new or something. And there's used stuff too, which is cool. You can get some really good.
Yeah. And use just means they took out the digital code,
Yeah,
probably
yeah,
sold that off, and you get a brand new Blu-ray or
yep.
4K, whatever the case may be.
No,
So
it's awesome.
I'm
Yeah,
for that too. And the community is great there too. We were talking
yeah.
about community. Somebody knew that I was trying to find that Wonka Steelbook 4K, and it just showed up at my house. And then I hit him up. I was like, yo, you hooked me up. He was like, wasn't me. And I I'm so grateful because not only did somebody see that I was looking for something, but they, out of the kindness of their heart, made sure I got it. So I wasn't in that night when he had the steel books available, but that's the kind of thing. And I've done things. There's things in there where you could just like contribute like a certain amount, and
Oh
then
yeah.
somebody will randomly get a movie like a 4K or something like that. So I love stuff like that because it's like a surprise. Another time I got like Flashdance, the 4K when it first came out, and then I was able to pay that forward to someone else. So good
No,
things like
absolutely.
that.
No, it's cool. People take care of each other. It's kind of
Yeah, that's
fun
the
to do
best
that.
part.
Bill was saying I stream all my music these days. There's way too much music out there that I would buy, and I'd probably get divorced.
You and I both. You and I both.
Yeah,
And
there's
it's
enough
it's
stuff.
great to go back and rediscover things that you didn't hear about, or maybe bonus tracks of from an album that you listened to in the past. So I like things like that. I like It's like bonus features on a Blu-ray. I
Yeah,
love stuff like
yeah. Oh, we're gonna have even more things to buy from him. He said he's getting into CDs and tapes now.
that. He's halfway kidding on that.
Yeah, I always think it's funny about the whole retro thing. So I love getting into vinyl a little bit, but I always think it's funny with cassette tapes coming back because that was like one that I would have so much frustrations with when I was younger with my car. It's like
Hmm.
you always kept like a number two pencil or a pen in your car because you'd have to like wind the tape back in and hope you didn't twist it over or something.
Yeah,
Or
but
you know,
I think cassettes were like the beginning of my musical freedom because it's like I could throw it in a Walkman,
oh
put it
yeah,
in my headphones, and now my parents can tell me not to listen to that thing.
yeah,
Um, quick story.
yeah. Go.
So I'm in I'm by my parents. I'm grown. I'm in my 20s, whatever. I'm grown. And my mom is outside, my dad's at work. So I decide, it's for the children. I'm gonna listen to some Wu-Tang Clan. So I turn it up. My dad has a nice system. I turn it up. First words out of the album, if you don't know, is "Bring the mother effing ruckus." Repeat it over and over. My mother is outside and she just hears bass and profanity. She comes running in the house. Hey, not in my house. Don't play that noise in my house. It was
Yep.
like the funniest thing. And I was like, this is why they invented headphones.
Yep. Yep. I've had a couple of those moments in my past too with
Oh,
some
yeah.
listening choices. But yeah, people are going down through again. Oh yeah, I see you out modding. He's like he loves modding for toy. One of the best. Yeah, I see you out there on whatnot modding for
Yes.
him. Uh, he's saying don't pay retail. That's the key of the show. Yeah.
I mean, if you don't have to, he's selling it for the same. He can't say it. I'll say he's selling it for less than where you could get it on eBay or Walmart. He has an eBay channel. If you really don't want to go and hang out in the shows,
Yeah.
you just hit up his eBay channel. Great buy it now prices. So go that route.
Yeah.
Toyologist, easy to find.
It's kind of fun doing the shows though too. That you get that
Yeah, the shows
interaction
are
and
fun.
yeah,
The competition is fine. It's
yeah,
fun.
yep,
So
yep. Just have some self control when you're bidding on stuff. But don't it's crazy. There's some nights where it's just that's what I can't name any. I know I have quite a few that I've gotten from him where, and even if they're used, I don't care. Like they're still great movies and they're perfect shape and I can watch them just fine. But like you're getting like a buck or two, like under $5 Blu-rays. I mean, that's
yeah. And Blu-rays are the most durable format.
mm,
I mean, DVDs, you look at it wrong and it's like scuffed up like a hockey
yeah,
puck.
yep,
And people don't want to hear it, but 4Ks are not as durable as Blu-rays. They just hold more data, whether it's 50 or 100 gigabytes.
right,
But Blu-ray really was like that sweet spot between durability and also capacity.
yeah, the
So,
quality,
if you bought like a used Blu-ray, I know some people like, ooh, I can't have a used Blu-ray in my collection, or somebody else had this. You save a lot of money.
I was like, I don't mind it. There's when you,
Save a lot of money, so it's a good route to go.
absolutely. Yeah, Jeff was saying he found a toy because yeah, I sent him because one night he's like, I'm gonna start. Does anybody want to have 3D Blu-rays? And Jeff collects those quite a bit. And
Yeah,
so I was like, hey,
yeah, Martinez Joe, he might have some doubles for you too.
well, there you go. But no, I was one night I shot him a message. I'm like, I don't know if you're doing anything, but he said he's getting ready to roll some, and he's pretty good with what he's got. And so yeah, he jumped on there. I know he grabbed a few of them, but got a
Yeah, if you
good.
follow me on IG, I normally will put out an ad when he's going to have a show.
Yep, that's how. Like I said, that's how I found
show.
about him.
Yeah.
Throwing out some food. You're gonna make me hungry now. I just had chicken, pork rib, chopped teriyaki for lunch. Yeah, because you're next day, aren't you?
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
Very lunchtime over there.
Yep. Saying tapes, I think, are more nostalgia thing, man. Yep. I still got old school Walkman effect. Yeah, it was awesome to be able to do that. But but yeah,
sure.
definitely. Let me run through here real quick here. My first tape was Two Live Crew, and I thought I was the toughest on the block. I would say that's one that my brother and I got in trouble with my mom.
Yeah.
My brother's 6 years older than me, so she was like, "Why are you letting your little brother listen to that stuff?" But yeah, I think a lot of people got in trouble with that one. A lot of people got in trouble with that one.
I can imagine.
Yeah, my first tape I remember was Vanilla Ice or Police Hammer, Don't Hurt Him. I can't remember for sure. I don't remember my first tapes because my brother was older and he'd give me some older ones, or sometimes they were dubbed off. They'd have the two cassettes and it'd be a blank one, but handwritten on there what it was. But yeah, I think CDs I kind of remembered more because for whatever reason it seemed like a bigger deal when that came out. And but yeah, for sure, it's kind of fun looking back at those. What we got here? When you're watching in a theater, what's your biggest red flag pet peeve when watching on there? Oh, maybe it's like something that bugs you if you're in a theater.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say somebody on their phone or talking really loud over.
Talking.
Yeah.
Talking because home video has been around so long, the etiquette of going to this theater has been lost on more than one generation.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing about, what you would do at home and talking through a movie and watch what happens or what's going to happen. What did he just say? All that stuff. It's like,
yeah.
This is the STFU section of this.
Exactly.
Only because I'm sitting here and I could hear you.
Yeah. No, I can see that. That's where at home it's kind of nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
At home you can kind of control the environment more.
Mm-hmm.
Or usually it's somebody you're watching with that you can be like, no. If you want to be in the room with me, let's watch it.
You can leave now or shut up.
Exactly. Jeff was just saying he can't imagine how much he's saved buying used.
Yeah,
I can see that.
I'll say like this, like I was mentioning, my budget has changed from using Whatnot auctions to the point that it's easier for me to buy like an Arrow or an Arrow UK or a second sight because the money I would spend on a studio release day one just to have it, not watch it for another 3 months, and the price declines on Amazon. But I bought it day one. All that stuff, it's now going to boutique stuff that I'd rather have, and I
Yeah.
know I'd enjoy more. So
Yeah. Brian was saying I kept a portable CD player. Yeah.
fun.
So do you ever remember when it was first switching over and I was first getting, so did you ever have like the portable Discman and then have the cassette tape adapter to put
No.
in? Okay. So I had that for a while where,
Oh,
so
wait
you
a
had,
minute. Like it
so you could
was
play it in
like
your car.
you put it into the cassette player, but it was for your CD.
Yeah. So you'd have like a Discman and instead of
Yeah.
where you plug your headphones in,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
you would plug a jack in, it'd have a long cord and it would be connected to, it looked like a cassette tape and
Yeah.
you could put it in your deck and it would play
Yes.
it. And I remember doing that, but those things would skip so bad. Like, so anytime I was
CD players are
driving,
terrible for that.
yep, it would just skip like crazy. But no, that's cool.
Yeah.
You still got it. Dell was saying I've bought lots of secondhand Blu-rays and never had a problem with them, but I've had pristine looking DVDs that won't play.
Yeah, it's true. I opened up a closeout sale DVD to watch, and I put it in, and all it did was spin. It wouldn't read the disc at all. And then I look, and it was like basically disc rot on it because it was so old. So
Yeah. Luckily, I've never run into that, but I know it happens a lot. But Brian was saying his first tape was Def Leppard Pyromania. Yeah, that's a good one.
good one.
Dell was saying was LL Cool J is Bigger and Deafer.
Great album.
Very good. How well do you like your steak, KB? Same to you, Corey. And what part of meat do you prefer? We're getting in some good, interesting questions here.
I'm a center cut kind of guy. I can only do like medium well. Can't do anything less than that.
Yep. Okay. No, that's so I go medium rare a lot of the time. But I'm not too picky when it comes to steak. But yeah, like you said, center cuts that's good. But I take about anything. But yeah, I go. It's kind of funny at our house. My mom, we always would leave her stuff on. We'd either put it on before ours or leave it on longer because she was always like, it's got to be gray through the whole thing. Like she did not want to see any type of pink or red or anything in there. And it was always kind of funny.
Everything.
Yep. We always gave her a hard time about that, but yep. KB, I got to tell you, Studio 666. The kills were funny as heck. Jenna's cameo was a shock for me too.
Yeah, we were talking about that last night.
I've never seen it.
It's fun. Yeah. I like the Foo Fighters. I mentioned Dave's book earlier, so yeah, it's a fun horror comedy kind of thing. So
yeah. No, I heard of it. I just never got around to seeing it. Jeff was like, Corey's like, steak. Yeah, it's all good. That was always like a good thing to have. So, so when we were talking about music with this, do you prefer your music by yourself or with people around you when you're listening to it? Is it a solo thing or do you like people experiencing it with you?
It's going to sound really weird for a former DJ, but I love it by myself.
Yeah.
Because music is personal to me.
Yeah.
So it's like if I'm sharing it with you, like my son was here a few weeks ago for his birthday, and everybody else went to bed, and we just sat there and we just listened to music together. And I knew for every song that I played, it's a song both of us liked, and it was like, yeah, that was a good time because it was like a shared experience. But like I said, from those early days with the Walkman, and even earlier than that, laying on the floor listening to AM radio, learning all the pop songs of the moment. Yeah, it's always been a personal thing, but you would think a DJ would be like, let me play some music for you. No, even then, I'm never that DJ that's playing. I'll play to the crowd, but I won't play for the crowd. So if I don't like that new Drake song, I'm not playing that new Drake song.
Yeah.
So it's like that.
No, that's all right. So I lean towards by myself as well on that. Not that I don't mind, and I'm sure you don't either, like being around people, listen to music,
Mhm.
but I'll sit and listen. So that was one thing I know when my wife and I first met. She couldn't get over it. Like I would sit and listen to an album, just sit and listen to an album. Like I could be by myself on the couch in front of the speakers and just sit and listen to the album. Nothing else. Like I'm not reading anything. I'm not watching a movie or, whatever, TV. And it was kind of funny to her because for some people music, and this isn't a knock or anything, but it's different for different people, but sometimes music is more of a background thing for
Yeah.
them. And not saying I don't use it for that at some times, but there's times where I can just sit down and to me it's almost like watching a movie. If you have one album that you can listen through the whole album, it's like sitting down and watching a movie, and I just put that on, I'll sit back and listen to it.
Yep. Same way.
um I love these questions. Happy Optimus, what's the best sandwich? That's a tough one, bud. I don't know. The best. The
The one that
best.
makes you go, mm.
Yeah. The one that you have at that moment. So
Yeah. The one in your hand.
Gizmo must have woke back up. Good morning. Still rolling, I see. Now my angel has awakened from the sleep, and Fire of Hell is ready for a new day.
We haven't been on for 3 hours since he left.
That's funny. Like I said, that was my horror comeback.
Studio
Oh,
666.
yeah, yep. Happy Optimus is hungry with the food questions. Yep.
Prince is funny.
Del, medium rare. Does it flinch when you cut it? That's what my mom thinks. Yeah, she turns her nose up at me with that. But that's funny. Gizmo back from yep. He woke back up. I'm a food guru. Thank you. Yep, that's
There
all
you go.
right. I'm glad. I'm so glad music got brought up tonight. Yeah, because I have it in my name and I don't talk about it enough.
You can always talk about it with me.
No, it's fun. Yeah, so and this is where I'm kind of around, but these are like some things I can't remember, and I apologize if you brought it up before when we talked about it. But I knew you DJ'd. I
Hmm.
knew you DJ, and so we can kind of count that too. But I was kind of thinking, did you ever play an instrument besides? Okay.
No.
Okay, that was kind of I was interested to see if you ever played an instrument. So since you haven't,
Yeah.
if you could snap your fingers and know how to play a certain instrument, which instrument would it be?
Piano.
Piano?
Piano, it's like to me, piano is like it's a center of not music necessarily, but composition of music. Even if you are a voice performance, it's like you have to learn keyboard. If you know guitar, usually they make you learn keys on a keyboard.
There's a
I,
lot
I
of it.
just I just come back to that all the time. When I think of playing something solo, I hear a keyboard. I hear some keys,
I
Billy
remember that as
Joel, Prince. I hear keyboards,
yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, it just stands out for you. But no, I know what you're saying though, that there's so many areas that they require that. Cause I remember my son was in jazz band and he played
Yeah.
saxophone and really, but I know initially when he was younger, he was like looking at percussion, but they required a certain number of years of playing piano to go to do the percussion. They wanted you to
Yeah.
have that background with it. So it's like what you're saying, like there's so many, that knowledge playing the keyboard or piano carries over to so many different areas. It seems like,
Mhm. And people don't realize that like even a keyboard is a form of percussion. So you think
oh
drums
sure. Yeah.
and all that stuff. But before timpani, it's a xylophone, and a xylophone is one step away from a piano or organ. So
Yeah.
they're all in there together. So
Yeah. No, absolutely.
my heart, my soul is a drum, but my mind and the way I would want to compose. Because if I'm going to learn an instrument, I'm not just going to learn to play other people's stuff. I'm going to compose.
Yeah.
So it would be a keyboard. It
Oh,
would
that's
be
cool.
piano.
I never. That's one thing I wish I would have dug into more when I was younger. And now that, who knows,
You can still
maybe.
do it. My
Yeah.
friend learned to play drums when he turned 60.
Yeah.
So I'm like, man, keep those joints like nice and loose because woo, the pain you must feel.
I know. I
So
always
same
thought
thing with piano.
I always thought guitar would be fun, but I don't know if my fingers could take it. You know, that getting older and stuff, I'd be. I don't
Do
know
you
if I
get
could.
like to the point where you think of like songs that you enjoy and you're like, I would love to play like Blackbird on a acoustic guitar or something like,
It'd be
something
kind of
like
cool.
that.
It'd be kind of
That's
cool.
how I am too. I'm like,
Yeah.
I hear things. I hear like I mentioned Billy Joel. I hear the opening to like Stiletto, or there was this one time, just to keep the Prince motif going,
Yeah.
when he was interviewed by, I want to say it was Oprah, and he played an acoustic piano version of Purple Rain. And
Hmm.
I don't think I've ever heard that anywhere else. All the bootlegs I have, all the studio albums, all the live stuff. And I'm like, I want to be able to see a composed piece of music and be able to transpose it into something like that. Or John Baptiste, if you know him, he's a band leader on Stephen Colbert.
Hmm.
And he sat down with 60 Minutes and he was talking about, just learning a piece of music, and he took like Beethoven's Fifth and he made it into like a gospel. Then he made it into blues. Then and you're like, wait a minute, this is like classical music, and he's taken all these different genres of music, and just the way you perform it on a keyboard just changed the whole dynamic of the song. It's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful, and you can't
That's
really
cool.
do that with too many instruments. So I love it.
Oh, absolutely. So I know we were talking about earlier, like our kids now introducing music to us, and so we have that to find new music. But do you have anything that you use a lot to find new music to listen to? I mean, I know you threw out now kids suggesting things to check out, whether it's streaming or friends or YouTube, or you have anything that you kind of lean into that helps you dig into new stuff?
Um, on Spotify, they have their listen weekly,
Hmm.
and what it does, it takes the algorithm of what you listen to, and it says, well, you listened to all this stuff and you liked all this stuff. Do you know this? You might like this. And every week it's like 20 new tracks. And a lot of times it's like other songs by that artist. So
Yeah.
more than likely you would know them.
Right.
Then every once in a while you find a gem. And those gems I just end up putting on like my, I use my favorite list, not for my favorite songs because I could find them easily. Duh. I use it for songs that I discovered while I was listening on random or something like that. So when I come back to it, it's like, oh, I remember that song when I discovered it on this. So,
Yeah.
and I do that on both streaming services.
Yeah. No, I do the
Discover
same thing.
Weekly. Thank you. That's what
Yeah.
it is.
Yep, I see it. Yeah, I have you. I think threw that in there, but yeah, it's I like using that as well too. I'm very fortunate. A good friend of mine that I knew graduated from high school and actually college with as well. Um, we have similar streaming apps, and you can send links to
Yeah.
albums, and so it's so much fun. Like when you have a couple. He's one too that. I'll be like, man, I fell into a rut. What are you listening to? And he'll be
Yeah.
like, here, check these out. And some stick, some don't. But
Hmm.
we have crossover of taste, but not everything always hits. But it's cool to check out different things like that, and it's fun to have people to bounce things off. But I agree that whatever um, whatever Spotify does, they do a good job. I think
I
with that
think they
whole
do the best job
yeah
out of all of them. And just to complete the answer, the other things is like you said, with friends sending you, I
yeah
like when friends send me a playlist
yeah
because it usually goes with a vibe or a mood. and then there's going to be a song in there I don't know, or something that hits me different, just hearing it in the midst of this sequence of songs. And I also have a group. I used to work for that little fruit company, and I still have a group of friends from there that we stayed in touch, but we stayed in touch through music.
Yeah.
So we're always talking about like our favorite producers, and did you hear so and so's coming out with something new? Or they're also vinyl heads, so they'll say, "Oh, there's a reissue of blah blah blah," and I'm like, "I don't want to hear it."
Yeah. Yeah.
So at least once a day, there's at least one track or one, single of somebody's stuff coming out, or like a EP for an album coming out. So there's always something good to explore in there. So I love that.
Oh, very cool. No, definitely. And I think this kind of goes along with Jeff was saying, is like the right album, if listened to correctly, tells a beautiful story.
It
Yeah.
does.
Do you find that the music today, and this is not old man being angry or anything like that, but that now the way we listen to it, the way we consume it, like through streaming, and do you feel that more times it's just going for singles instead of an album?
Yeah.
Yeah. And do you miss
I,
that?
I think because there's no pressure to have a great album, because great albums equals great sales once upon a time.
Mm-hmm.
So you had things like, I'll just use The Police, one of my favorite rock bands of all time. So you can't just have a song with like one great radio hit. You need to have 2, 3, 4 follow-ups. And that meant you have to have an album that's solid enough to have those follow-ups.
Right.
These days, you could have a great single, never put it out on an album, wait 6 months, have another great single, maybe put out an album that's a collection of singles. It's different, and because you don't have that pressure from the industry to produce something unique, something memorable, something that's gonna, I don't know, the people that you see making great albums are people that are serious about like concept albums and so forth like that. So we mentioned like Frank Ocean Blonde. He puts out an album every blue moon. And
Mm-hmm.
it's like, for somebody so young, you should be putting out a lot more music, but he doesn't. And every time a Beyonce album comes out, it's an event,
Mm-hmm.
or a Taylor Swift, or whatever it is. But their albums are crafted to be
Mm-hmm.
albums, not a collection of singles.
Mm-hmm.
So it all depends on the person and the company that's putting out. I keep wanting to say movies, music.
Yeah.
So not everyone can make a great album these days, but back then, that was the goal. It was to have a great album.
Yeah. Get the sales of the
Yeah,
physical.
the sales
Yeah.
meant you get more, another contract for another 3 years. You
Mm-hmm.
get the nicest studios.
Yep.
Most
Absolutely.
people don't care about that stuff these days.
Right. Yeah, Dell was saying if I know or expect an album to have well-written lyrics, I like to listen alone, analyze, and get lost in it. Otherwise,
Hmm.
I love having it on the background with others. Yeah, I can see
I
that.
like that.
Absolutely. Jeff was saying when you learn percussion, that they use keyboard music. Okay,
Yeah,
yep.
there
So
you
that
go.
makes sense. Where I was thinking. Oh, he was saying he did that percussion and band in middle school, high school. Absolutely loved it.
If I could go back, people say, "Oh, I never change anything." That is the one thing I would change. I would change to include music, because there were things I did in high school that I didn't have to take classes, but I would have loved to have taken music classes and did jazz band or did marching band or whatever the case may be. I think that would have been fun, just to have that in my back pocket as
Yeah.
something else, as a music lover.
Yeah, great experience. I think that's where you were hitting on. You saw
Yeah.
yeah, Discover Weekly. Yep, absolutely. And saying fun fact, I wrote my first song in just under 5 minutes back in high school about my crush at the time. Yeah,
You
well,
were
that's where
inspired.
a lot of music comes out of
You were
great feelings.
inspired.
So I know just kind of like getting down to the bottom of my list here, but I do have, and I know one of them. So you don't have to name one because
Okay.
we've already spoken about this gentleman a few times tonight, which is nothing wrong with that. There's understandably why, but it was one, if you could collaborate with any musical artist, dead or alive, who would it be?
Besides Prince.
Yeah. Well, we can say, you say more than one. You can say more than one. So you can have Prince on there because I knew that was probably like an easy target one. But if you went beyond Prince,
Oh, I would want a songwriter. I don't care who it is. Preferably a female songwriter because I think they capture like things like matters of the heart a lot different than your popular pop music. You know, I love you, I love you, I love you kind of thing. It could even be Miss Swift, but I would say I would want someone who's like multi-talented, like a Stevie Wonder who can play instruments and also arrange and compose and sing. Yeah, I think I can think of 100 other people. You know, I could go into like hip hop producers and you know who wouldn't like to make a beat with Pete Rock or DJ Premier or something like that, or RZA from the Wu. But at the same time, I'm like, yeah, Janelle Monáe. I'll add that. Yes, that would be my female songwriter right there.
okay. No, that's kind of cool. I mean, it's just I know it's kind of one of those hard questions that you can kind of get out there.
And
but
Casey local too. I wouldn't have to go that far. She just needs to come home.
well, that's the thing. You could probably just make a huge list of like, and it's kind of like when I said, you know, going out for dinner with a director. You know, it's like how long of a list can I make? Because there's probably you can just keep on going down and be like, oh, you know, on each one of those. But
yeah.
Well, I tell you what, like I got down through my questions. I don't know. I hope I didn't keep you too awful long.
Nah.
I had a blast. I mean,
So did I. And I know everybody's sleeping. The dogs are in the kennel. I don't have to do anything except go upstairs and change my clothes.
I know.
I'm good.
I'm in a similar spot as well too. But just out of curiosity, do you have? I know like the weekend's coming up. Do you have any movies that you're lining up to watch, or do you just kind of from night to night you're like, I'm going to watch a movie and you pick it out then, or do you have something that you got sitting there that you wouldn't mind checking out?
Are you asking me if I'm a mood watcher?
Yeah, well, I am. There's nothing wrong with it.
Not at all. I'm just teasing. I want to finish up the Mad Max movies before I see Furiosa.
Yeah.
We're not doing anything for the holiday weekend, so I'll probably go see that Saturday or Sunday. I have a couple more movies that I want to watch this before the month is over. A couple of kinos I've been trying to watch. Kinos as well as like movies to prep me for movies coming out in the cinema. So I watched like all of the Planet of the Apes movies.
I thought about trying to get back through those too.
I watched the Stranger movies in order to see that one. So I forget what's coming out next week. Anything coming out next week? I don't know.
I'm not sure off the top of my head.
I got like all those kinos up there, and too many of them still have shrink wrap on it. Too much cellophano on that shelf. So I definitely need to. I need a day to just veg out. I've been really stressed at work, so I just want to do some mindless watching. You know, some Monster Squad, some Happy Birthday to Me. You know, some kinos that I haven't seen yet or haven't seen in a while. Maybe break open Kindergarten Cop. You know,
hey, there you go. That's a nice fun one to.
Yeah, just be a little bit all over the place.
Yeah, it's funny though, like when we are, and I know I have nothing compared to a lot of people's collections, but I think we all find, whatever our size of our collection, I think we find different instances of having the shrink wrap still on things that we bought, and you're just like, I want to get to that. I want to get to that. And yeah, I'm kind of the same way, or hopefully I'll be tearing a couple out this weekend too to get the
cracking plastic is what we call it. Cracking.
Oh yeah, plastic. yeah. That's fun to do that. You get to hang out and watch the movie that you actually purchased, and maybe it's been sitting there for a little while.
You don't watch movies. We just buy
Oh yeah, we
them.
just want it on the shelf.
Yeah, we want to make it look good on the shelf. Like, look at all these boutique label stuff I have. I
I
never
know,
watched a single one of them.
but it sure looks pretty up
All
there.
those funky box sets, I never read any of those books. What are you, crazy? Who
Oh,
has
that's
time
too
for
funny.
that?
Well, hopefully we'll get some good movie watching, and like you
Hope
say,
so.
like you go watch a movie, and
Yeah. There's a reason I say that because, honestly, there's people who think that. They think we have these movie collections and it's like, do you actually watch movies? It's like, yeah, that's why I
yeah,
bought it.
yeah.
But, truth be told, I know of at least one movie that's been sitting here. And I remember when I got it, it was right before a November Criterion sale. And I ordered that along with my first Criterion sale for the month of November. And Out of Sight is still sitting there
Mm.
unopened. So when did the 4K for Out of Sight come out?
Oh, it's been a little while now. I couldn't tell you that. I've had it for a little while
And I
too.
love that movie, by the way.
Yeah, it was fun. I did end up watching that one, but I have other Kino 4Ks that I have not gotten to yet. But it was fun to go back and watch. It had been a long time since I'd seen that.
Yeah, anything Elmore Leonard related, I'm all about it. So
That's a fun
um,
one.
yeah, so I know that's been sitting there since June 28th, 2022. That doesn't sound right.
I don't know. That seems like a longer ago than I
Okay,
thought.
no. But anyway, it's been
It's
there
been a
a
while.
long
It's been a
time.
while. Yeah.
Been sitting there a while. So
Yeah.
um yeah, there's a lot of movies that need some watching, some love. So I'm definitely gonna try to do that this weekend. And then I'm also a sports fan, so there's basketball to watch too. I think that gets in the way too.
There's a little basketball going on.
Yeah,
Do you have
something
any?
about the playoffs and
Yeah.
conference
Some
finals, blah blah blah.
some playoff thing I've heard something about, but
Hmm.
do you have any, not that we have to go way into it, but do you have any team still in the hunt that no,
Mm-mm.
but you just
At
enjoy
this
watching
point,
it?
it's just to see who wins.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's why even tonight there was a game on. I didn't
Oh,
feel like
sorry
I
if I
missed
took you
it.
away from that.
No, no, no. That's what I'm saying. I don't feel like I missed anything, so
Yeah.
it's all
Well, that's all
good.
right. But well, I tell you what, man, this has been an absolute pleasure having you on. I appreciate it. And like I said at the very beginning, it was so much fun to come on to your show, like, uh, very, very early on. So I appreciated you giving me the chance to do that. It helped calm my nerves, to come on to somebody else's channel,
Yeah,
where you're not running the show, even though I don't have everything completely under control at this point. But,
you never do.
no,
You
but
never do.
it was a fun way to do it. You were a great host to have on there and make me feel comfortable. And like I said, you were a great, gentle nudge in the right direction to be like, like, well, if this is something you say you want to do, like what's in your way to start doing that, and
Hmm.
not in a bad way, but I, like you said, it was like the gentle accountability type of question, or like,
Yeah,
to have, and it was very much appreciated. And like I said, I think shortly after that live stream, the movie club that I talked about, I started doing it. So it wasn't too far after that. So,
glad I
um,
could be a part of that.
oh no, I appreciate it. I think sometimes it takes that little bit of a, we were talking about earlier, just roadblocks that you put in, or those hurdles that you put in front of yourself of, oh, I need this or that first, or I need to be better at this or that. And it's just getting
Hmm.
out there and doing it. And
It is. It is.
yeah, so I thank you so much for that. But,
You're
I
welcome.
know, you were talking about it earlier, but did you have anything else you want to, before we, sign off for the night, that you want to throw out there that you got going
No.
on? Or?
Like I said, we have the live stream tomorrow on my channel, KB Loves Movies.
That's right.
So, just talking about the state of the movie industry, whether it's from the perspective of cinema, box office, streaming, and the hot mess garbage dump that is, or physical media. I'm going to try to get them to talk some physical media as well. So,
Yeah.
come and join us. It should be a fun hang.
Yeah. And I have your links in the description. So people get out there and, Instagram, YouTube, all the fun stuff. Definitely worth checking out if you haven't already, but,
Yes, please
for
do.
sure. So, again, thank you very much. And everybody that's been hanging out with us tonight for any part of it or coming back for stream. Yeah, thank you. That's why we love doing this.
Yes.
Get to talk to everybody. So thank you, everybody. And hopefully we'll be catching you all here really soon. So have a great night.
Watch a movie.